You just
All
hold
right,
up
we
the
are
theme music to
live.
your mic.
Dun, 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 dun. This is the Detroit show tonight. How you guys doing? This is Tone Talk. We have some great guests tonight, besides myself and Dave Friedman, who are always the great guests. Dun, dun, dun. This is the Detroit show tonight. How you guys doing? I've got a technical problem. There we go. Sorry about that. I had my speaker go off there. So we have John 5, legendary John 5. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Absolutely.
And we also have Dave Black from Seduce. Dave, you are a well-known guitarist from Detroit for the band Seduce, and we're honored to have you on the show.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me. Awesome.
Yeah, no problem. So we were just talking, actually, just getting acquainted here, and you guys, all three, you guys go way back. So you guys want to talk about that? Maybe John and Dave Black, and then Dave Friedman. You can jump in.
Yeah, I met Dave. I was from Detroit, and Seduce would play, and it was like just mayhem trying to go see them. So I was so young, but I would sneak in, and then I took guitar lessons from Dave at Guitars for Stars, and I remember I was so into Seduce. They all had this super long black hair, and Dave, I don't know if you even know this, Dave Black. I was in a band called Vampirilla that was, in Detroit and doing well, and they had like really long black hair. And I went to like this preppy school in Grosse Pointe, young. I mean, I had to be 14 at the most, but I knew the songs and they got me as a guitar player, but I was so young and I looked so stupid because my hair was so short. So they put a long black wig on me.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it was my coolest Dave Black look I could pull off.
No, that's cool, man. That was a great time back then, man. That was a great time to be around here. Scenes come and go from city to city, but back then, at that point in time, there was a lot going on around here. It was really, really cool,
And we're talking about what year around that? It was in the 80s?
80s.
Yeah,
early 80s,
yeah,
82 through 80, all the 80s, yeah.
All the 80s.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, sure.
Harpo's and the Ritz and New York, and Blondies and the Token.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And it's kind of where like music and culture and the places to play all lined up, all exactly at the same time. So there was always some place to play. There was always a good band playing somewhere. You could go to any one of those clubs you just named on any night of the week, and whoever was there was pretty good,
Yeah,
It's
I
not
remember
really like that now, but like phases of things or something.
Yeah, and I remember Harpo's had that wet T-shirt night. Man, and I was psyched.
Dude, that place is back open again. It's opening. I went back there and flashed back so hard because it looks exactly the same. I swear to God, the video screens came down after the band played, and all the 80s MTV videos started playing on the wall. Like the same tape was in the machine. It was freaky. It was great. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Are they going to have the reinsurgent of the wet T-shirt contest? I say.
I don't know, man. I'm sure Rosie'd be up for it.
It was the greatest because I was so young, and I was like, wow, I was just so psyched.
Yeah,
I remember. It's burned in my head. Seduce and tits.
Wow.
Me too, bro. That's great.
That's funny. That is funny. So now, Dave Black, you guys, you gave John lessons. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I taught a little bit back then, just for whatever reason, you know what I mean? But I think, God, John, you must have been 15, 16, I think, something pretty young, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
It was funny because I pulled you up the other day and you were sitting there playing by yourself on the couch. And I'm like, oh my God, he looks exactly the same as what I knew him back then. Same hands, same look on your face and everything. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny. And yeah, I learned a lot from Dave. Like, And just, I loved taking lessons. I started taking lessons when I was 7, and I just always took lessons because it was so important. You can never stop learning. I know it sounds, cheesy and stuff, but I just loved taking lessons. Whenever Dave was given lessons, I would always sign up.
Yeah, that's great. Taking lessons it just keeps you going along, and keeping.
Like the best part now is you pull up YouTube and some kid who is 14 shows you how to play something you've been listening to your whole life.
Yeah.
And he's just a young, it's just a young guy, and it's just like, well, there it is. But now you have different ways to learn and different places to cop shit from in a whole different way,
It's very discouraging when you see that 14-year-old, I have to say.
Oh, it's kind of cool. I mean, it kind of counters the guitar dead argument and all that,
That's true.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's one key difference, I think, with what you see now on YouTube with these young kids is they don't know how to actually play with a band.
Yeah.
They can do it in their room, they can do it on their computer, but get them out there and really go for it.
It's a whole different world when you do that. It's just like a boxer. You can just punch the bag all day long, but you got to get in the ring.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. And
It's
the
a
weird
great
thing now,
analogy.
it's like I would bump into like young guys in the music store, and it's like, to me, I always felt bad because coming up now, they can do their thing, but when I was coming up, like you could get in a club band and play covers and go out and play 3 or 4 nights a week, 3 or 4 sets a night. You get good that way because you make all the mistakes, and that's how you learn. And now the people that are coming up now don't get the opportunity to play that much. You get to play once a month, once every, it's just different the way that the whole thing works. It's not the same experience, Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I hate to name drop, but I just am giving examples of people that I know that talk like that, and David Lee Roth always talked like that. He said, we played all the time, and that's how you get to know what to do and what not to do on stage. And
Sure.
It's just
everything I do now. Yeah, it's all the mistakes you make.
Yeah.
It's all those hours of practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but throwing you into the den of wolves is way different than just practicing.
No, it's
That is
true.
all.
But I'm saying that. But even having those gigs is that element of practice that gets you to being where you need to be to perform in front of people and have a good stage show and everything like that. It's got to be part of that. Going out and playing. Yeah.
When I was a young guy coming up, somebody told me a long time ago that 1 crappy show is better than 10 rehearsals.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Makes
true.
sense,
Yeah.
My drummer says
that's like
that all the
old school
time.
wisdom, but I don't know. Yeah, makes sense.
That's funny. My drummer says it all the time. He played with Bo Diddley and Ron Wood many years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
and
love Ron Wood.
he played on the Gunslingers tour back in like '86 or something. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. But so John, I know you only have a limited amount of time, and I want to be respectful of the time that you have. So, and I have like a million questions. So,
well, wait, how about we fill it in? They filled. You guys filled each other in on how those two know each other. Then
that's
how
true.
did I meet John? I met John quite a long time ago too.
Long time ago.
Would that have been Katie Lang?
That was Katie Lang. I was
Katie Lang, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
and I had no idea what I was doing. You built me a rig, and pretty much saved my life. I would always run to you in total craziness.
You had that black carpeted pedal board.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, and we fixed it up a little bit for early on, and then later on, you still had that pedal board when you started with Manson.
Yeah, because I like stomp boxes. I just, and then with Manson, they had so many effects, and I was like, because I just like using like a cord into an amp, and I'd be fine. But I had all these pedals and all this stuff, and Dave, thank you for all of your expertise, because without it, I would have been a wreck.
Yeah, well, I mean, it came down to after one of the first tours you did with him. I remember he was hitting. He would smash your pedal board with a mic stand, and
Right.
I remember seeing a Boss pedal that was literally flat like a pancake. Great.
Yeah.
You'd like look at it and go, "Wow, yeah, that's done."
Yeah, that happened all the time. I'll tell you a real quick story, because he would hit my cabinets with the bottom of my tech, who was so he got the grill of a semi, and so which are really tough. They're a lot stronger than most. I don't know, but we wouldn't say anything, and we just put these grills on the cabinets, and so he would hit him with the mic stand, and nothing was happening, and he kept on hitting, and then you could see him getting more and more tired, and he was like, and nothing was happening. So he ripped, after doing that, trying to kill it, one time he ripped it down a few shows later and cut his knee open on that grill, and so he left the amps alone from then.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, so we go back from Katie Lang, which I don't remember what year that was. So that was 1990 something, or was it?
Yeah, 96 maybe.
96, all through. So you got in Zombie.
Yeah, all through still to today,
Yeah. So
Long
it goes
time.
back a long time.
So, John, what amp are you playing now? You're playing Marshall?
Yeah, I just use the Marshall 900s, and they're great. I have no problem. I had one problem. We were playing at Irvine Meadows, and we I don't know if it was the heat or something, but none of my amps worked, and everybody was freaking out because people were coming in, and everybody was freaking out except for me. And I just said, "Oh, well, just grab, one of Korn's head or something like that, and I'll just plug into it." And they're like, "You don't need your head or anything special?" And I said, "No." And all my amps are just completely stock, so that's what I like. I like to buy them right off the shelf and plug right in and stuff. I just it's easier
cool.
that way.
That's true. That's very true. That's cool. And the other question that I had for you, which has probably been asked a gazillion times, but I tried looking for it. Why the Telecaster? I'm just curious. Why did you gravitate towards the Telecaster over other guitars?
I loved TV when I was growing up. Everything was TV, my whole life. And we just sat around and watched TV, my family. And I remember seeing God, I loved Hee Haw. And I remember seeing this little boy. He was the banjo champion in 1976, and he was playing with Roy Clark. And I remember watching him going, "Wow, this kid is like, a few years older than me, but he's so good." And that's what made me want to play guitar. But seriously, this is no joke. Even at a young age, I was like, well, I don't know, if the banjo is very cool, but maybe I'll play an electric guitar. And they all played the electric guitar shape there was just a Telecaster. I thought there was no other shape. I thought it was just that. And, that's why I play a Tele.
That's great. Yeah. I remember as a young guy seeing Roy Clark and just being blown away by that guy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's why I like.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I like Big Jugs too, is because all those Hee Haw girls.
Wow. That reminds me of
This one for the Hee Haw girls. Where are they now?
Yeah.
So I need to keep you away from my wife then.
Was she on Hee Haw?
No, note to self.
Was she on Hee Haw? Oh, that's funny. It reminds me of the beer St. Pauli girl. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Big Jugs. That's cool. That's very cool. And Jean, I know you're way into monster stuff, and I was too when I was growing up. I was really into special effects makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Baker, Tom Savini, all that stuff.
Yes.
Was that like of interest to you, or were you just more into like the movies, that aspect of it, or?
It was all, that's just was my childhood. I loved, it was comforting. It was like the monster movies and all that stuff, just like any kid. And then, growing up, you have an epiphanies, and I saw Kiss, and it was like monsters with guitars. And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. So yeah, it's funny now that I think about it, all the things that I loved when I was younger, I still love today. It's like, nothing's changed much. I still sit in front of the TV and play guitar, and I love Kiss and Monsters and all that stuff. So and Hee Haw, I still watch that. It's so weird how nothing's changed. It's so strange.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It is. You kind of. I don't know. The older I get, the more nostalgic I get for older things. But I see you have a big Kiss collection.
Everybody does, man. You priced old guitars lately?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
That's true.
So John, did you see Dave then play when he had when he used to play with his telly?
Oh, I've seen Dave play so many times.
So have I.
So many times. Oh my God. Yeah. I would go see Dave play all the time, every chance I could. It was Seduce was always the top. And then it was, and I'm not just saying that, I've said this in other interviews and things like that. It was Seduce and then Halloween. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Oh sure.
Dave, remember Halloween, of course.
Sure.
And then it was like, what else was there, Dave? Heaven's Wish, and there was, what else was there right around that time?
To me, I don't really remember that many of those people. I remember more of the dudes that came up before me, like when I was a little bit younger. Muggsy, and remember Joe Gatos?
No.
Joe Gatos' son was the kid in the School of Rock movie. His dad, monster guitar player. Yeah, there's just great guitar players around here. They're always has fun. Always.
Yeah, cool. I took lessons from a lot of people there. Bob Gillespie and Chuck Miller and all the cats. I was like a sponge. I just wanted to learn as much as I could.
Yeah, steal a little bit from each person, make it your own.
Absolutely, which people do still every single day. Which is great.
Yeah.
So besides Kiss, and John and Dave, I'm curious, both of you guys, what were your main influences growing up and learning guitar and everything? John, you can go first if you want.
Yeah.
With TV, it was anything that had a guitar, like the Monkees and Hee Haw. And then, Kiss came around, and then Jimi Hendrix. I saw an advertisement for Woodstock was going to be played on HBO, and I saw it. Oh my God. And then from that, I bought my first Van Halen record because it said Gene Simmons on the back of the Van Halen record, and that's the only reason I bought it. And
that's amazing. Wow.
And that was and then I was hooked. So, and it just went on from there. The greatest thing you can have is inspiration, and I look for it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And so when you look for inspiration, what kind of things would inspire you every day? I'm just curious.
Well, luckily we have the internet, so I'll just search, and it's just like if you like a certain song, it'll say, "Oh, check out this song." Same thing with like Instagram or something like that. So there's amazing guitar players all over the world that it's so inspiring. You just take a little bit and you sprinkle it here and sprinkle it there, and it's wonderful. And then of course I still like watching things on YouTube and things like that. So that's pretty much all I do all day if I'm not on tour. And I play so much all day. It's just really, really bad.
As in, I don't have a life.
As in you better shower and eat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I There's a question that came in from John Mangiardo, and I know you've answered this before. But they want to know about the acoustic album that you did with David Lee Roth, and if there's any update on that at all.
You know, it's such a great record. I will tell you a quick story that I don't really talk about that much, but me and Dave were recording, and it sounded so great, man. We were like, I would go to his house and I'd write with him in the afternoon, and then we'd go at night and record. But he didn't want to use the click because he just wanted it very loose, like Van Halen. You know, they didn't really use a click and stuff. So we had all these overdubs, and it's just like acoustic records, but it's kind of like, it's very sophisticated. It's like kind of like Doobie Brothers or Steely Dan with all these like overdubs and harmonies and everything. So Dave, I was going on the road the next day, and Dave Roth said, "Oh, let's put drums on this." And the engineer said, "Well, we can't really because there's no click." And just like the, you know, tear in his face, and he was like, "Oh man." So I'll never forget this my whole life. He pulled me aside and he said, "John, you have to redo everything." And I was like, "Well, Dave, I can't because I am leaving on the road tomorrow night." And he's like, you have to do this for me." And I remember looking at my hero, like pleading with me, going, "You have to do this." And so I walked back in the studio and I redid like all 13 songs with all the harmonies. It probably took me like, you know, hours or something to do everything. And
Wow.
and I did it. But the album is incredible. I wish that I could play some music, but you know, of course he's in this band called Van Halen, so I don't know when he's going to release it, but I'll tell you, it is something else. And there is a couple titles I can say. There's one song's called "Somewhere Over the Rainbow Bar and Grill."
Nice.
Yeah, it's true. That's the real title. So
you know, I remember going back when you worked with him previously.
mm-hmm.
I don't remember what year that was.
That was probably right around, like, it was right around Katie Lang time. So
Yeah.
maybe before, you know, or like right around 96, 97.
Yeah.
And it was awesome, man. It was.
I remember you playing it
so
for me.
crazy. Yeah, it sounded like old Van Halen.
It did.
It's
yeah.
like something I knew very well, and so it was like really that album's really close to my heart. I'm very fortunate because I never dreamt of anything like that. I just wanted to be a session musician, so I didn't even, you know, think that this would ever happen. I remember seeing Dave in a club in Hollywood and running up to him and going, "Holy shit, you know, David Lee Roth," you know. And that's probably pretty much all it was going to be. And I saw them in Detroit on 1984 tour, and you know, it was a very big part of my life.
I was there.
Yeah.
Wish I was there.
Dave Black, did you go?
I saw him in Masonic doing Van Halen 2 at Masonic 2.
Oh.
That was unbelievable.
Oh man,
I stood in the orchestra pit, bro, like right there.
Yeah. See, Dave's got
walk out on stage, light up the sky, first song. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's happened.
No, it's the real deal. It was the real deal.
Oh.
That's the real
deal. Yeah, their first two records are just like bam, bam, right, left. You know, like unbelievable.
And the tours too. They were just amazing.
Oh yeah. Take no prisoners, man. Yeah, totally.
Young and hungry.
Knock you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
John, I love the story. At least I saw an interview where you were telling the story of how you first collaborated with Dave, and you actually, you know, talk about taking the initiative and going after a dream. You actually sent him some songs that you wrote, or music that you wrote, right? And said that I'm interested in playing with you, right? I mean, that's pretty cool.
It's so weird. Like, I was sitting on my friend, and I can see this. I was sitting on my dumb friend's couch, and I saw this Crazy from the Heat book, and I was like, I wonder what Dave's doing. I'm going to like send him some songs, you know, on the back of this book and to his office. it's like trying to get a hold of like, you know, Superman and saying, hey, Superman, you know, why don't you take me a ride, you know, or something. Like the chances were like ridiculous. So, and Dave is such a private person, you know. So I sent these songs and they sounded just like Van Halen, you know, and then, you know, Eddie Anderson, who was Van Halen's bodyguard, he was managing Dave at the time, and he said, you know, we like that Dave likes these, and can you send some more? And I was like, oh my God. So I just scrounged up whatever money and favors I had, and I just recorded some more. And he said, okay, Dave likes these. Can you send some more? And I was like, actually, I can't, you know, I don't have any money and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, okay, well, come to Dave's house. He wants to meet you. And I was like, this is insane. So I remember driving that night, going to his house to make sure, you know, I knew how to get there and I wasn't late. This was before GPS and all that stuff. And so I drive to his house and pull up to his driveway and ring his gate, and the voice box thing, the intercom goes, hello. And it was that David Lee Roth voice. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, I'm here to see Dave. It's John. And he goes, come on in. And I remember he had overalls on, and he goes, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. You know, this stuff's great. We're going to make a record and all this stuff. And it just started from there. And we've been like really good friends ever since, like, geez, it's been since 1996 or something like that.
That was the house in Pasadena, right?
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah. I went to that house once when Joe Holmes was playing with him.
Yeah, it's a house he grew up in, and he's like, I used to smoke pot over on that, you know, over there when I was like 15, and
Rehearse in the basement.
And they would rehearse in the basement, and you know, and it's so funny. This is a true story. I don't know if I should be telling these stories, but like, I would go to his house a lot, and he had all his stage clothes and all these clothes like on the driveway. And I didn't really ask. I thought he was just drying them. He like washed them or something, but I didn't really ask why they were all scattered on the driveway. And then here comes the gardeners, and he goes, listen, boys, take whatever you want. Enjoy. And I was like, oh my God, he's giving away all these stage clothes to the gardeners. Like, what are these gardeners going to do with all these stage clothes? You know?
Wow.
So,
Were you like, can I have one?
Spandex.
Yeah. Flashing us gardeners.
Wow. Gold lame coat and spandex.
That's
he
great.
did give me a pair of these snakeskin like platforms, like, you know, back in the day and stuff. He'd go on stage, and then he gave me all these albums to listen to, like Rod Stewart and all this stuff. And then this is so funny. He got like mad at me like twice. And one time he got mad at me. He goes, bring my shoes back and my albums. And I was like, oh, geez, okay. So,
Yeah, it's like breaking up.
yeah, bring my stuff back.
Oh man, oh that's cool. That's great that you worked with him, and hopefully that album will come out one day. Now, was it all acoustic?
Yeah.
Or was
it's all acoustic. I did a really heavy, you know, rock record with them, but yeah, it's all acoustic, but it's really cool. Like, it sounds it's kind of like, you know, like Could This Be Magic, you know, that kind of really, or Take Your Whiskey Home or something like that, you know, that kind of cool
Right.
stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. We had another question, and I know it's getting to that half hour mark. Do you have to jump after this, or how you doing?
Yeah, fire away.
Okay. So Adam Centofanti said, who are you into right now? Any new bands? New music?
Let's see. What am I listening to? I
know, Adam.
Do you? Okay.
What am I listening to? I like, you know, I revisited a couple things. God, what am I listening to? Oh, I like the Aristocrats. That's what I've been listening to. Guthrie Govan, you know, is in the Aristocrats. Yeah, so I've been listening to that quite a bit. So I really, really enjoy it.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't heard it. I've heard Guthrie.
Yeah, it's really great.
That's cool. What about you, Dave? Anything new, or are you like me and still stuck back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s?
I don't know. I swing all over the place, man. I listen to all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do a lot of that, like my your favorite stuff that's close to your heart. But I don't know. New Queens of the Stone Age record came out. Heard that. I like them guys.
That's cool.
I don't know. And I like trying to. I've always been the kind of person where I like catching something where it's like the band's first or second record. So I'm always fishing for something that's new. But usually that's only a song or two because that's all there is right now. You know what I mean?
What about you, Dave?
I got the new Foo Fighters record.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, it's out. I saw, the funny thing is Dave Grohl did this little animated story about this record.
Yeah, I watched it this morning.
Did you saw that? As soon as I watched it, I'm like going, oh, okay, I got to buy the record. Click.
Yeah.
I go, wait a minute, this is brilliant marketing he just did. It made me buy the record. And
I want to buy the record, yeah.
The record is pretty interesting. It's different. It's lots of instrumentation and lots of like layers of sound to the songs. And really cool.
I definitely will check that out. I think it's called Gold and Concrete or something.
Yeah, little different than normal. Like not, a little more
it's more
textural, sort of like, but it's still like heavy but it's big. It's like a big sound, like wall of sound sort of thing almost.
Who was the producer?
Same guy who did like Adele and I forgot his name. John, do you know? He said it in the thing.
I forget his name, like Craig or something. Craig something.
Yeah, Adele and someone else and a couple other artists that weren't in the rock genre at all.
Yes, something like that.
So, but cool. I listened to it today for the first time, and I was like, "Wow, there's some cool shit in here." I liked it.
I listened to the first 4 songs, and it sounded like a couple of them sounded very heavy. They had some Zeppelin influence in there, and then it was good stuff.
Well, they said they guested a lot of vocalists on it and the background vocals and stuff, and I think Paul McCartney's on a song. And
Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake's the backup on a song, and like and funny thing, I was listening to it. I'm going, oh, that's the Justin Timberlake thing. Wait, here's the Beatles. Oh yeah, that's the Paul McCartney thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, they did a concert recently, and they had Rick Astley come out, and they did "Never Gonna Give." What was that song? They did the Rick Roll.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe they did that.
Well, you know what's great about love or hate the Foo Fighters. What's great about Dave Grohl is he's excited about music. And he's excited about doing projects and doing new things and throwing it up against the wall and stirring it up and making something new.
I love them. I think they're wonderful.
Me too.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah, so that was the latest thing. Yeah. So
that's cool.
I do gotta run, guys. But Dave Black, listen, I'm gonna be in Detroit on the 29th. We're playing at what is it called now? DTE. So you're more than welcome. I'd love to have you.
Hey, guess what?
Great to see you. Thank you.
Guess what? I'm there too.
Oh well, Dave Friedman, would you like
29th?
as well? Yeah, come on down.
Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Or no, it's a Thursday.
Very
I
cool.
don't know. I'll look it up.
So, John, just before you go, do you want to tell us where people, what are you working on, and where people can find your stuff, and just kind of plug anything about yourself?
I am working on the new Rob Zombie record, and that's we're in the process of doing that. I do my instrumental thing, John 5 and the Creatures. We're going to be playing a couple Halloween shows like in Washington. Then we're going to China, believe it or not. I can't believe they're letting me in.
Wow.
And so just doing a bunch of really cool stuff like that. So just picking and a grinning.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Good shit, dude. Congrats, dude.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. I just saw your video for the Fender Telecaster, Elite Telecaster. That was a great video.
Yeah. Thank you.
So thanks again. Great. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. And Dave, and I hope to see you guys. You know,
See you, man.
Dave
I'm coming.
Friedman has my number, and you know, Dave, just give it to Dave Black, and hopefully I'll see you guys.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll
All
try
right,
to make
thank you,
Thank
guys.
you, man. Congrats.
Very cool.
Bye-bye.
Nice meeting you,
Bye.
John. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Wow, now it's just us.
No, it's
Just
just us. Oh, you're killing me with that. You need your headphones, Dave.
Yeah, I think
For me, is it too
Yeah.
loud still?
it's
Yeah,
still
we
got some
can
Can
echo.
I fix it? Huh.
You got a
Do you
set of
have
headphones?
How about that? Is that better?
I think that's better.
Let me see.
Hello, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, 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 yo. Hello.
Yo, yo, test check. 1, 2.
Better.
Yeah.
That's good. All right.
Okay.
We'll
A
deal
little
with
bit in the background still, but we'll live with it. We did
We'll
so
live
far.
with it. Yeah. That was cool, man. That was great to have John on.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. I haven't actually. Last time I saw him was a couple years ago. So
DTE, baby.
yeah, on the 29th. So that's the hell if I know, but I can look while I'm sitting here.
Did he say September 29th?
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
October 29th?
no,
Or
September.
September.
No, I already looked it up. I already saw that he was playing.
Oh, cool.
As I was looking around for things when I was in Detroit. So, and I don't know what I'm looking. Oh, there's one calendar. That's what I was looking for.
Oh man. So
Yeah, that's a Friday, Dave.
Cool.
very cool.
Think you can
You'll
get
be
it
all
off?
right. Yeah.
Or what time do you get off?
Oh, man, I'll just skip it.
It won't be that good.
Yeah, I'll skip it, dude. It's not
Let's
even-
skip
it's not
it. Let's
even
go over
worth
to DTE and go hang out.
No, that place is great, dude. I got
Yeah.
to play Sabbath with that place. It was great.
Yeah, you guys opened up for Black Sabbath.
Yeah, that was great. At home, sure. I'll take that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So
Wait. Did I miss something? Who opened up for Black Sabbath?
Seduce.
Seduce.
Really? Really?
Yeah, it's great.
What year was this?
Oh, geez. It must have been one of their last ones, you know.
With
I
Ozzy
don't know.
or?
No. No, with
Really?
Ozzy. No, it was Sabbath, Priest, Testament, and us, I
Yeah, but
think.
was Ozzy singing with Sabbath or was it?
Dio?
Must have been Dio. It must have been Dio. Yeah, it wasn't Ozzy, so it must have been.
Huh.
Yeah. It was cool.
That's cool.
I don't know, you know, those were like my guys when I was a kid. I mean, like when I was starting to play and stuff. Sure, Sabbath, Zeppelin, Purple, those were the guys, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I got to get more into Deep Purple. You know, I just know more of just like the hits. It's not one of those bands that I've actually gone back and bought albums and really kind of visited like things that I'd never heard before off their albums. I should probably do that because there's so
This is
much.
made in Japan, bro. Oh my God. It's like right up there with like one of the greatest live records of all time.
Made in Japan.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, what a performance, dude. Guys that
Okay.
can really play, you know. Take the song somewhere. Yeah, good stuff.
That's cool. All right. And Dave, were you just showing
So-
off your drink?
Yeah, someone said no scotch tonight. Well, yeah, it's right here.
There you go. You know what? I have no alcohol in the house except for the scotch, and I couldn't do the scotch tonight. So
Oh, okay.
I just couldn't. I'm just.
I won't say what I'm really.
I know. Yeah. I just couldn't. You know what? I overate today and just couldn't do it. So we went to an all-you-can-eat sushi place, and I really all you can eat.
Oh, earlier?
Yeah, for lunch.
I had sushi for lunch too.
Did you? Yeah.
Well, when I do this show, I never know how long it's going to take. So we start at 6 here, and I'm like, I got to eat before I do the show.
right.
I learned that the hard way.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's
because I won't be home till 9 or something, or after, so it's like I got to eat something at least. So ordered sushi. Seems like a good idea.
true. Yeah, that's what I was into today.
Sir?
A lot of places are
Sushi and
starting
scotch. Wow.
sushi and scotch.
Sushi and scotch.
Sushi and one scotch, not a lot. So
That's cool.
Why not?
So Dave, you still live in Dave Black. You still live in Detroit, right?
Yep.
That's cool. I got to make it out there one of these days.
It's great, man.
Well, it's a few weeks from now, Mark.
Yeah, I can't, unfortunately. I've got work and I just can't. I'm actually I'm actually on October 22nd. I'm going to EVH Con. I have a buddy of mine who throws a convention for Van Halen, which is pretty cool. Wow. Yeah, talk about being really geeked out. So I'm going to that. And I'm working in it because my clients are right there, literally. So I'm just flying. It's right there in Connecticut. So that's on a Sunday. I'm going to fly up, and then, but I'm going to be traveling right after like the next couple of weeks. So I'd love to go to Detroit and go to the show. That would be cool. I think next time
there's a show we're talking about in the future that you're going to have to go to. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that won't be for a while yet. So.
Okay, we'll talk. We will talk.
Our show? Our
show? Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
No, the big one.
No, that'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be great. You'd have to. Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you a good time, dude. It's a good time to be had here. You know. Great place.
I'll be there.
Great place.
All right. Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Sounds awesome.
So what do we got? We got any more asking questions on here still?
I'm sure we did. So I see the first one. Patrick Behar. Can you tell us anything about the new BE amp model, Dave?
Oh.
The BE 50 Deluxe?
Isn't it out enough all of a sudden on it kind of got plastered out there on Facebook and
it got leaked.
And leaked on Facebook and a couple forums, your page and things.
I didn't want to bring it up.
Is that bad? Is that bad?
Oh no, it's multiple pages on it on a lot of forums and stuff, and everyone debating it and talking about it, and
that's all good.
It's all good. Oh, good. I should have called it something worse, and then they would have talked about it more.
Yeah, well, you didn't really go, much dirtier than it already was. So.
Well, I mean, no, it's just a BE Deluxe. So, what Deluxe means? Well, I think I put it out there pretty well. It's basically the Buxom Betty Clean channel. It's a 50-watt amp. It's got a half power switch on it. Which really is like a pento triode switch. It'll knock it down to kind of a soft 25-watt kind of thing. It has the BE channel, the standard BE channel that we do, slightly voiced differently, slightly, and then
more aggressive,
and then a revoiced HBE channel, which is more aggressive and more tough, a little more blown up sounding or something, a little more like. Hard to explain. I wanted to address a couple things that channel did before, and I just tweaked around a couple parts and kind of improved upon it. And then we added a thump knob, which is a resonance. Normally in a BE, it's preset inside. We added a response knob. It's a variable negative feedback. Sort of like in one position down low, it's more spongy and darker. And as it goes up, it gets punchier and brighter. So you can sort of decide where you like it. And then normal presence knob and effects loop, gain structure switch, and fat switch. And a voice switch on the front, which takes you between kind of like tailors the top end a little bit. Some people like things darker, some people like things brighter. So it just depends on the player, and he can kind of dial it in to what he likes and the guitar he's using.
Wow, a lot of voice kind of features.
And the HB and BE have gains and masters for each channel. So
that's nice.
So you have like a really tweakable badass amp. So.
And it's being sold exclusively through one channel?
Exclusively through Sweetwater until the first of the year. For the U.S. After the first of the year, it'll go full to all the dealers.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
And Europe is a different thing. So they'll be able to have it. So
They will or they won't be able to have it?
They will be able to have it, yeah.
Okay.
Japan
Cool.
and Europe will be able to have it because the U.S. dealers aren't supposed to sell out of the country anyway. So.
Right. Cool. All right. So I'm going to keep jumping. When is David releasing a solo record?
Ha!
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yes.
Actually, I've been working on one. And then I thought I was going to do some Seduce stuff here, and that kind of got sidetracked. So I quit working on that because I thought I had some other stuff coming up. So now I guess I got to get back to it. Yeah, I've been working on something. It's pretty good. I've been waiting until, I don't know. So you find something that you think is worth pursuing, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, that's different, but it's neato. I've been kind of waiting for that, and I've got a couple good things together. So we'll see what happens.
You're waiting for the thing that goes, yes, that's it.
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
Otherwise, it's just, I don't know. Yeah. I'm into it.
Yeah, I keep pushing Dave.
Oh, no, it's great, man.
Well, I think that was from your friend Adam Centafonte also.
Oh.
Adam. Dave knows Adam.
I know Adam. Hi, Adam.
That's cool. Molly says the next pedal has to be the Nasty Nancy.
Okay. That's not the next pedal's name, but okay. But maybe.
You did mention that you have something in the
I do
works,
kind of
right?
like that name, though.
Nasty
Careful,
Nancy.
Molly. Does that mean I have to send you a free pedal if I use the name, Molly?
He'll probably demand that.
Probably. That's the least I could do, I guess.
Right. Timothy Pierce. Hey, has the Buxom Boost been released? I think it has, right? October 1st, I thought.
Buxom Boost will technically be in stores, actually, for sale on October 1st, meaning that we've started shipping them, but we've put a hold on it till October 1st. Now, whether or not there's some store that might violate that or not, I'm not sure. We'll see. They're not supposed to. But
Right.
it inevitably always happens.
By the way, I'd love to give a shout out to Sean Tubbs. He did a monster demo of both pedals, but I saw today the Buxom Boost.
Oh,
demo.
yeah, right?
It sounded great.
That's great sounding.
Yeah, really good. Got a question here from Brian M. What's the backstory behind Dave Black and Dave Freedman's friendship? How do you guys go back?
Oh, wow. We don't actually technically go back that long.
About a year.
A
year.
So Dave is a guy that I used to go see in Seduce when I was growing up, when I was a kid. They were the, as John was attesting, they were the shit, so to speak. They were the badass rock band of Detroit during the time. They were the, king of the heap, basically.
Good tones, good time, decent songs. It was great.
And so, I always used to go see him play, and he always had this this guitar tone that was always like, what is that? What is that tone? So my buddy Jimbo Barker, who I knew used to be roommates with Dave, I'm like, yeah, man, you gotta ask Dave what he used to use. How did he do that back in the day and with this thing? I see he still does it. He does it with the vintage modern now, but what did he do? What was that? What was the deal? And I go, I'm going back to Detroit. You need to hook me up with him because I want to find out. It just was something that was bothering me for years. And so, well, he did.
That's cool.
And so I went and hooked up, met Dave, and I'm like, can I take your amp apart?
I think the best part was, though, as Jimbo calls me, he goes, my buddy Dave Friedman from Freedman Amps, he wants to, and I had no idea who you were. So you're like on my way to my house, and I figured, wow, I should probably Google this guy. So like, you're on my way here. And I'm reading about it, and I'm like, wow, man, okay. You know, so then he comes by my place. Yeah, we rip apart my amp, and we got to be friends because I'd had it for a while, and I was looking at, and we started talking. Oh, I can make you, a replacement or clone it or something like that. And we just got to talking more and more, and got to be friends. We think a lot alike. We hear things a lot alike, so it works out good. I love his stuff. It's great. Everything he's done for me, I can't thank him enough, for sure, definitely.
That's awesome. That was a great question, Brian.
Yeah, so it just kind of snowballed into a friendship, after that, and for me, it was kind of like, I was meeting someone that I looked up to when I was a kid, when I was going to see you guys. So,
I was a kid then too.
Well, I know you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're whatever. We're 8 years apart or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were a kid too. You weren't that much older than I was.
Yeah.
You were in your early 20s, and I was in 15, 16 years old or something.
Yeah, that's it. Just trying to make your way, man. Because we were trying to break a lot of the rules, a lot of the traditions that were in place as we were coming up. Like I say, we came up in that cover band culture, and there wasn't a lot of people that wanted you to just play one set of all originals and stuff like that. That was really early on where we started doing that kind of business, because before you really weren't allowed to. It changed things a lot. Or we changed things a lot. I thought that was pretty neato.
Ruled with an iron fist, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we were just
trying to play by your own rules.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do.
Weren't we just talking about that? Like back in the day, it's like some of the club owners would go, okay, you can play for the door, and then all of a sudden, 500-600 people or 700 people came to see you, and then they're like, well, wait, you can't have that money at the door. No, like they weren't thinking that many people were going to come see you, and that's when the baseball bats came out, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
the road crews like coming with bats and going.
No, you're gonna pay us.
No, the agreement was
we're gonna wreck your bar.
We're gonna, yeah. Well, you have two choices: you can pay us, or we're gonna wreck your bar.
Okay. Welcome to Detroit.
Welcome to Detroit. Exactly. And that is very much Detroit right there.
That's great.
Yeah.
No,
that's cool.
Good memories, man. I mean, they really are. You can't beat memories like that. It's just like, wow, all the shit that you've gotten to do because of all of that back then. Even just sitting here talking to you guys now, wow, it's just all connected to that. It blows me away. I appreciate it. It's awesome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for coming on. I love it. It's great. We have a question, Dave. A couple people asked, and I don't know if you want to give this at this point, but do you know what the price point of the new BE50 is going to be, deluxe?
I do believe it's going to be $34.99. I mean, to be honest, it really has more features than the actual BE100 amp, and really to make an amp 50 watts or 100 watts, it's so little difference in price, and actually we reduce it more in price than it actually, the reduction of cost to make it. So that's kind of what it's got to be a hand-wired amp. Still a hand-wired amp, and
right.
So it's not, it's not a PC board amp. It's not like the Runch amps or anything like that. So it's still the high-end hand-wired.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's going to be an awesome amp. So
yeah,
I want to try one, man.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Well, maybe that's your next amp, Dave.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, probably.
Got lots of options for you.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Yeah.
So just curious. So because I haven't played the Bucks and Betty, you said it's the clean from that. How is that different than say the BE clean right now?
It's kind of a more sparkly, fendery, round sort of clean than the regular BE. It's got a little different feel to it. It's got a little different sparkle to it. It's just It's definitely a Fender-esque sort of clean channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Really good with pedals too.
Excellent. So Dave Black, you recently got a Friedman guitar, didn't you?
I did. I love
Which
it.
one did
Where
you get?
is it?
Do you want to see it? You want to grab
Yeah.
it?
Let's see
Yeah,
it.
let's see. Was it the T?
Yeah.
The vintage T?
Yeah. Dave's a longtime tele user. He used to have a 60s red Telecaster that was painted Ferrari red. It wasn't original. It was a 60s Strat that he got stolen a few years ago. So he had it forever from the day back when I used to see him.
Right. All right, so let's see. I'm going to put the camera
We're
on
getting
you.
the shot. There?
There we go.
Oh, that's nice.
White tee,
P90 in the neck.
white headstock. Ooh.
I love that.
Ooh.
Nah, it's a great guitar, man. Great feeling guitar.
Can you show the back too? There you go.
It's all chewed up.
That's great.
Signed.
Signed,
By Grover.
David Grover.
Very nice.
No, it's my number one now. It's a great playing guitar. It feels great. It feels great. I just been putting miles on it just so it gets loosened up, you know? It's great.
That's great. Grover makes a great guitar. So
Yeah, it's got a great resonance to it. You hit a A chord, and the whole body of the guitar goes, you know, like a tuning fork, because it's got a great resonance to it, which most tellies don't, you know, and it's just like that one does. It's great. It's a lot of fun to play.
I think that has a lot to do with the steel dowel pins that are in the neck pocket. You hip to that, Dave? You know about that, right?
For me, oh yeah.
Yeah. It's got two steel dowel pins that come out of the body in the neck pocket, kind of reasonably large around, and then the neck has holes that match it. So it sandwiches together, and the neck can't shift at all. It's a zero shift neck joint. So once you screw the bolts in the back, it's like really like one piece of wood. And when you think about the dowel, these metal dowels going up into from the body into the actual neck, think about the transference of tone because of that. And that has to do with the vibrations of that guitar. And all the vintage tees and the Callies that we do all have that neck joint, and they ring a certain way. And they're very very connected to each other. You know, the neck and body are very connected to each other, and I'm convinced it's that because it rings different than most guitars.
In a way, it makes it more musical because everything resonates so much more. It's just kind of it's alive in your hands. It's not like how some Fenders you play where you're just kind of like stroking wire. You know what I mean? Where it feels like you're dragging something down a chain link fence. This doesn't feel like that. It's a lot smoother, you know. Really nice. Really super cool.
Right.
Super cool.
is that a patented feature, Dave?
I don't think it's patented. It's a good question that's a question for Grover.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious because I don't know of any other companies that do it.
I do know of a couple other companies that like do not exactly the same way, but a couple similar things. I know Leo Scala Guitars does he does some little like wood sort of fins that stick up out of the body and the neck goes on. It kind of does the same concept, just not the metal. So it's a similar idea, you know?
Yeah. I know Eddie Van Halen would do like a sunken screw, like an extra sunken screw underneath the plate sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I had heard on the 5150 and a couple other guitars. Do you know that, Dave, for a fact?
Yeah, he was pretty well. Isn't that why some of was it the Music Man guitars that had what of his guitars didn't they have 5 or 6 screws in the neck plate?
I think it was a Music Man.
The Music Man had like 6 screws. That's sort of where that came because when Ed would jump around on stage and do these huge scissor kick jumps and stuff and come down. His guitars, his neck would shift if he banged it, hard, and he was pretty hard on it. And as soon as it did that, the whole thing's out of tune,
Right.
And you have to pull it back into tune. You'd have to yank it back. So anything to stabilize that neck is a good thing, really. I remember him telling me. I remember him showing me one time. He goes, "Come here, feel this." He made me feel his shin, and it's like a rocky road, It's like all bumpy, right? And he goes, "That's because when I used to jump up on the drum riser, and in the back in the day, right? In order to stop myself from falling into the drum kit, I would drag my back leg and smack it against the thing to stop myself on my shin."
Oh.
And it would just put these divots and dents and dings in his shin. I remember him telling me that story, and I'm like going, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense." I've seen you do that, and that's what he does. If you look at old footage, he stops himself with his leg, so he doesn't fall into the drummer.
Wow.
Because he goes full bore running up and jumps up onto it, And
Yeah.
And that's
well, that's why he needed a hip replacement. Probably.
Well, that had a lot to do with it. Sure.
Yeah.
Getting old.
Yeah.
Abusing your body like that.
Yeah.
Being drunk, falling down. Everything.
All those things that'll hurt.
All that stuff. All that stuff. Yeah.
That's funny. Let's see. I know we have some other questions here. Speaking of Detroit, this is the Guitar Guru Network. Hey, Keith, what's going on, buddy? He says, "What are your thoughts on heritage guitars, Dave?"
Which Dave?
I don't know. Let's say both of you guys.
I think heritage guitars, it's still built by some of the Gibson craftsmen that were originally there at Gibson. I think it's a brand that's been overlooked a bit. I think they make a good guitar. I don't know about the headstock on their guitars. Kind of bugged me a little bit, but I think it's a brand that someone could have done something more with. But I don't think they were kind of promoted more in the jazz world, sort of, than the rock world.
It's true.
But realistically, the guitar, their Les Paul is every much a Les Paul, and their 335 is every much a 335. Probably nicer, to be honest, than what's currently made.
Yes, I was going to say what's currently coming out of there. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No doubt.
So.
No, same story. I remember. I thought it was like the last couple Gibson guys trying to hang on to the Kalamazoo thing.
Yeah,
actually, way of doing
yeah.
it alive.
And
when I got my 335, the guy walked in the store with my blonde 335 and a brown Gibson Heritage, and he had them both, and we took them both, and side by side, they're both beautiful. But I could never get past the headstock.
Yeah, the headstock was a problem. The headstock was a problem.
Just being a tradition, whatever. Yeah, aesthetically.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is to try to find you're making a new guitar. Try to find a headstock that you can use legally and that you don't hate and that everyone doesn't hate. It's not so easy because generally people want to see the Fender headstock or the Gibson headstock and all that. So I think we got lucky because people seem to like our headstock. So
I think it's great.
It's bigger than a Fender headstock.
Well, it depends on which Fender headstock.
Well, yeah, but like next to a stock telly, you know what I mean?
The telly, it's much bigger than the telly one, but
distance from the tuner to the nut, but it's cool.
But,
I like the bevel, and even your Dave Black, yours with the white and black, it looks nice.
White headstock, it's great, man.
But it's got the black Friedman part. Yeah, it looks nice.
Dave, does your guitar have a black and gold logo or a black and white logo?
Black and gold.
You want a black and white one?
Do I want a black and white logo?
Yeah.
No, I like it the way it is.
Okay.
I don't want to touch nothing on it now. I got it just the way I like it. I don't
leave it
wanna touch
alone.
anything.
Don't even look
Yeah,
at
no,
it.
I've been monkeying with this thing since the day I got it, just going at it day after day, and now it feels, you pick it up and like I think you said, yeah, make it yours, bro, and I have that, so it's like it takes a
Oh,
little
I know.
time,
Yeah,
but
you took
then-
the sander to it. I know.
yeah.
Oh, what did you?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right. You
it's
guys were telling me at NAMM. What did you do to it again?
Took the neck down a little bit more.
Shit. Well, the neck was just a little bit round for me, so I flattened it out a little bit. Nothing really crazy or anything. I don't know.
That's cool.
Take the finish off it, make it comfortable.
Nothing wrong with that. It's your guitar, man.
Yeah, I like it when it feels broken in. I don't like shiny plastic coat stuff.
So we got a I love guitars that are broken in. I mean, except for when they arrive broken. But
Yes, like your new one.
yeah. But that's all right. It's all good.
Do you have your new one there?
It's in the other room. There's
What is it?
that was Pete Thorn who just kind of walked right past you.
Yes, everyone saw you anyway, Pete. Even though you held a guitar up.
He held a telly on his way by.
He goes, "I'm not here."
That's funny. I had a heritage. Just going back to that question, I had a Heritage Les Paul. It wasn't the headstock that bothered me the most about the guitar. I ended up selling it. It was the neck was a bit thin for me. I don't know if they make a different kind of, the more 50s style fatter neck, but the one that I had gotten, I bought secondhand, and I wasn't through with the neck, so
It's
I got
probably
it.
perfect for Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yes. Yeah.
that's funny.
Right, that's an old school Detroit thing, actually. Thin necks and a low action. That was always the standard that you judged the guitar by when you were younger.
Oh yeah.
How skinny's the neck? How low's the action? For some reason, that mattered.
Right.
It's true.
As Pete goes by again with the guitar.
Yeah. That's great.
Everyone knows it's you, so you might as well.
Let's see. The Guitar Guru Network says, "Love the way Dave Black rolls. Easy."
I like his background behind him. I got to get something fancy going like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's good.
And then someone asked what guitar broke. So I'll tell the story. And so I ordered and Grover's awesome. Grover Jackson is just a fantastic guy, and he's been very cool about it. I ordered a Concord from him for GJ2 guitars. That's his other brand that he does, and it came. It looked beautiful and everything, and I got it, and it arrived. I got it shipped overnight, and the guitar unfortunately got damaged in shipping, and the top of the V cracked off of it. So it's still playable and everything, but so we filed a claim and everything, and he's building me another one. So and I'll probably end up having I think UPS is going to want the guitar, actually. Yeah, Dave, it's funny you mentioned that the other night, Dave Friedman.
Yeah.
Because he wrote me that this morning, actually.
What?
That UPS may want the guitar.
Oh, yeah. Generally, if they're going to file a claim like that, they do. It's great when they don't, though.
Yeah.
Then you get two.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. He said that they mentioned it, but we'll see what happens. Right now, I'm holding on to it. So,
wow.
but,
Here, Adam said something in the chat here. He goes, "Never say an unkind word about Seduce to a Detroiter." They hit you over the head with a baseball bat out of the back of their car.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Why, does he have firsthand experience?
No. No.
And cousin Vinny says Dave's right. The Heritage headstock sucks. On the Les Paul, I don't think it's as bad, the Les Paul style, but on the 335 style, I don't
it's really bad on the 335.
Yeah, it's not as noticeable on the Les Paul. It's bad, but
I mean, they're really nice guitars. I there's just something, it's like here, guys, here's what you should do. Here's my ideas, and you'll make a better guitar, and you'll sell more of them. And that's what someone needs to do. And
Yep.
market it
This
to.
was an older guy's guitar.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't have to be, because it's just like, built like the old Les Paul or something. So,
Right.
and it literally is built like an older Les Paul, because that's what they did. That's the guys that still work there, and a couple of the guys that are still from the original Gibson plant.
I wonder if it's a case of maybe they just don't want to get that big. There's only so much they can produce, and that's just the way it is. I don't know. Some companies.
Are they still in business now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like G&L guitars.
Kalamazoo still?
They never go away.
Yeah, I think they're still in Kalamazoo.
Wow.
Yeah, same factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Steve Goodale going to Kalamazoo when Gibson closed the factory and had like rolls of the stickers that they used to put in 335s. They just had bins of crap they threw out behind the Gibson factory when they closed it. He went up there and rummaged through all.
Yeah, all sorts of things, pickups, all sorts of crap
that they let go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, back in the day, that would have been a good time to do that. Damn it.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Dumpster diving.
Yeah, totally. I'm into it.
Let's see. So what is someone said? What telly is Pete holding? Dave Nesdahl said. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I think that might have been a Sir telly that he was walking through the room with.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
What's up, Dave Nesdahl? Let's see. Any other questions? I'm going to go back.
Yeah, I'm trying to mull over these questions too, and here I'm looking over.
Okay. So, all right. So while you're looking, so you got the October 1st, you're releasing the Buxom Boost, and I'm drawing blank on the other one. What was the other pedal?
Dirty Shirley.
Dirty Shirley. That's right.
They're both October 1st. And when I say releasing, that means they're already at the stores, and they will be releasing them for sale. So, because it takes like sending it off to GC, it takes like 3 or 4 weeks for them to go to their distribution center and then actually distribute to the stores. I'm sure Dave knows about that.
Yikes. Yeah.
So, it takes that, and inevitably, someone will probably sell it a little bit before the time.
It happens.
That happens, and so be it. But technically, it will be available October 1st.
Mm-hmm.
All the dealers and on our website. So
cool.
So you'll be able to get it. And if you haven't checked out the videos from Sean Tubbs yet on both the pedals, they're both out now. Just go to YouTube and go to Sean Tubbs, or search Sean Tubbs, and you'll find the videos for both the Buxom Boost and the Dirty Shirley pedal. And they're fabulous videos that Sean did. Very informative and really great tones.
Yeah.
That he did on them.
Great player.
Yeah, monster. But they're very informative. I really appreciate how he talked about each knob and what it does and what you're going to hear and how it works. That was really, it really gave people a good starting point to go, okay, I get it. All right, great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. His videos are very good.
Yeah.
There was another question. I think it was Mully who asked, Dave, what is the Tweed amp behind you? Dave Friedman.
On the floor over here?
There's a Tweed little combo.
It's Pete Thorn's Vox AC-15. It's not. It's like a hand-wired AC-15, a new one.
Oh no! I'm talking about it looks like a Fender Tweed, like up on a shelf up there or something.
Oh, I think it's a Fender Champ, an old one, but with a Re-Tolex box.
Oh, okay. Everybody's checking out.
Everyone always picks out something in my room here.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? I mean,
I like the Guild Electric in the corner.
Seriously, like my bench is littered. Let's see if we can turn and see. The bench is littered with amps right now.
Wow.
So,
Multitasking.
So I'm like, I don't even know what's in the room.
You've been working on that rack for a while too.
No, that rack's done. It just it's sitting here till the guy comes Monday.
Oh,
So.
cool. Very good.
So.
There's a question from Matthew Harrison. Dave F. Any chance of your Butter Slack Synergy model or module or any of your signature heads as Synergy modules?
The possibility exists. It just depends on the deal that we would strike with the artist. So, maybe. Let's just say maybe. It's possible for sure.
Okay. When will Sweetwater have the new BE50? Question.
Well, technically they have one right this minute, but it's coming back to us for a second because we changed something on the panel for them. I don't know when they're officially going to launch it for sale. I would say probably, I'm guessing a couple weeks or something.
Oh, that's not too long. Okay, cool.
Feel free to call them and bug the living crap out of them. You know? They'll be like, what the heck's going on? We have a bunch of pre-orders.
There you go.
We haven't even announced it.
Right.
It'll be sorry, sorry, it went live and we sold out.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's been picking up a lot of buzz on the social media and on the forums, a couple forums.
I'll have to check out. I'm sure it's on the gear page, right? There's probably
it's on the gear page. Oh yeah, there's a big discussion going on, and of course with multiple pages as usual. And it's on Rig Talk also, and a couple posts on Facebook too about it that have some comments and things.
We got a comment.
Really cool.
No, I can't wait. Can't wait to hear it. We have a comment from Mully. He says, "I'm pretty sure I saw Seduce at Annie's in Cincinnati back in the '80s. Is that possible?" Oh yeah, Dave.
Oh yeah, a few times. Sure. I used to play there. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Now Mully lives in Japan, but yeah, he was from Cincinnati.
Yeah. What was the background on you, Mully? So you were. Where were you from originally, and now you live in Japan? What do you do in Japan?
He actually teaches English.
Oh.
Yeah, he teaches, I think, first grade.
Oh.
I think something like that. Teaches little kids, and he also, and he does it on the side, I think, also. But he teaches English, which is very cool.
I see something here. Mully said that tell Dave I'm the one that won the Buffer Bay. Won it from who?
He won it from the Guitar Guru Network. Remember that?
Okay. I was thinking that might be who it was, but that's killer. Great. Thanks, Keith.
Let's see. What kind of scotch, Dave Friedman? I want to know. What we?
My partner Rob got me a bottle that I had never had. It's a kind of expensive bottle, Highland Park. Which I think is an offshoot of Macallan. 18-year Scotch. I don't know that much about it, to be honest. So it was pretty good, though.
Very good. Cool. So Dave Black, what's been going on with you, man? What have you been up to?
Hanging around here, getting ready to do some Seduce shows, writing some songs, playing. Same as usual, same thing. It's just your day to day, I don't know.
That's cool.
No big, super huge plans or anything. Always playing, always trying to do something, get ahead, Yeah.
Oh, there's some plans, but we'll see if they come about. Can't announce it yet.
Yeah. A couple little things, a couple little cool things,
Oh, good to hear.
Always fishing for new stuff to work on. Always fishing for new stuff to hear and listen to, new stuff to do, I do a lot of playing with people around here that I try and get into their thing. You know what I mean? And it kind of makes you a better musician by exposing yourself to different things. You know, so I
Yeah,
try to do that whenever I can too.
Dave also plays in another really cool band, Crud.
Crud with Vinny Dombrowski from Sponge. Yeah, I got some stuff coming up with them. Yeah, good band, kind of industrial, goth, kind of. You know, I don't know. Sounds weird to use the labels anymore. I can't even do it anymore. You know what I mean? What you call them, it's just like, you know, people label everything so hard now. You know.
Well, they've subcategorized things in such a crazy way. It's like I don't even know. Maybe we're just old. But you know,
you're just seeing so much of it.
Well, I mean, it's like, okay, now you got metal, but you got like so many different sorts of metal.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, there's math rock and there's this and there's that and I'm like
stoner rock.
I don't know, thrash metal and this and that, blah blah blah, stoner rock. And I kind of understand stoner rock. I get metal, but all the subgenres of metal, it's kind of like, really, I don't know.
I always heard those were the words that people made up that couldn't play in bands.
Yeah, could be.
You know, reporters or, you know, critics, whatever, blog, you know, whatever. People, they find it necessary to try and label something instead of just letting it be or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? It drives me crazy. I can't do it. You know, I don't know. It's either good or bad. Those are the labels I need, you know?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I just want to know if it's rock music. Is it rock? You know, like that's the only category I need to know. Is it country? Is it rock? Is it classical? You know, like what kind of music? Is it pop? You know, that's like I used to have like 4 or 5 categories.
Yeah, it's like you had like, you know, exactly. In the kind of rock genre, you had like, well, there was like classic rock, and then there was hard rock, and then there was metal.
Right, exactly.
That was it. Or
progressive rock,
thrash
you know?
metal and progressive rock. Okay, we'll give that.
Yeah.
And punk.
And punk, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Punk,
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, does there need to be that
Maybe
many?
that's when all the labels started happening, right around punk. You know, that's when people started naming stuff.
Yeah, and then it was a new wave, alternative,
Hardcore, you know, all of it. Yeah.
Hardcore, steampunk, something.
steampunk.
Well, there's steampunk bands.
Are there really?
Yeah, there are steampunk bands. A friend of mine plays in a steampunk band, and it's a band called Granny Four Barrel, and it's actually pretty damn cool.
What's the premise? Like, tell me. Like,
you know what? Just go look on YouTube and look up Granny Four Barrel, and you'll get it. They're pretty cool, actually. I liked it.
Okay.
A lot of humor, but the singer dresses up sort of like a granny, literally, but it's very steampunk, and it's some crazy stuff, but it's cool. It's fun. It's fun. That's the thing. It's fun, and it's aggressive and fun, and you know, no one's taking themselves too seriously, which is fun. You know, it's fun to watch. So
that's cool. I'll check it out.
Thomas Dolby did the crazy steampunk thing. Seen his trip? Yeah, he did like a whole steampunk tour bus that he drove around in and shit, like crazy.
Oh, did he? No, I didn't see that.
Like to the nth degree of steampunk. Yeah, he went wild on it. It was great.
Wow.
You know, I had a buddy of mine who wanted to start a steampunk band. It's like, bro, what's it going to sound like? What is it going to be? You know, I understand what it's going to look like. What does the steampunk sound like? You know, I don't know.
Right.
Whatever you make it.
Yeah.
I guess, you know.
So Dave Black, we've got a great compliment here for you from Valerie Teacher. She says, "Hey Dave, you wore the red skinny jeans like no one ever back in the 80s."
Nice. I'll take that.
He probably still has them.
Yeah. Wow.
That's funny.
Oh man. I'm blushing, dude. Wow. That's hilarious.
That's, you'll take it. I used to, when I was in high school around back then, I would wear what was it? I did wear parachute pants at one point. I have to yeah, really embarrassed to say. I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
Yeah, there was an era.
Yeah. But then before that, it was like, I was wearing like Jordache and shit. I don't know. Crazy. I was never, I wasn't really I was more of the fashion guy back when I was in like high school than I was like the guy who just should have been wearing jeans and just chilling. Like, I don't know. I was not very cool in high school. Let's see what else.
Wait, I have something here. Someone said for Dave, Craig Phillips said, ask Dave Black about blasting his sound at the mall on the way back from a gig.
Oh, Jesus, sorry about that.
Oh, tell us the story.
You want me to tell you this
what's
one?
that story?
This is a friend of mine from high school. So
Is this
he had
Craig
a van,
Phillips?
and I had yeah. So I just bought a high watt, 100-watt head, and I had a Stratocaster. And we were driving back from a buddy of mine's house with the gear in the back of his van. And when I was a kid, before I could play in bands, I used to like to play outside. I just set up a stack in my folks' backyard. They lived on a lake, and you just crank the fuck out of it, and it's just echoing everywhere, So we're driving by the mall, and I'm like, wow, man, check that out, man. I wonder what this would sound like in the mall. So we pull up, and I grab the head out of the van. There's an electrical outlet on the wall. So I plug it in, hit the power switch. It lights. It's like, okay, that's cool. So you throw a couple cabinets out, throw it on, just crank it. Going wild in the parking lot of the mall. But I didn't know that I set up the amplifier against the back wall of the movie theaters. So it's like all these security guards came busting out the door, and I'm standing there like 15 years old. Like, what are you doing? Guitar's like, just, they're like, pack that shit up and get out of here. Yeah, it was great. I don't know. I just loved to make rackets so much when I was a kid. Didn't care where, didn't care with who, and it's still kind of like that. It's just, just that, doing that.
I've always wanted to do that.
It's great.
That's so funny.
I've
always wanted to do that. That is so funny.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
When I was,
then,
in Venice Beach, they've got people who just kind of just set up and just play, right? And there was one time there was a girl. I've been playing drums for many years, and there was this woman that was set up, and she was playing drums, and she really sucked. I just was begging her to let me get on the drum set. And she would not let me get on the drum set, but I wanted to just play. It was like on the beach, outside. I was like, oh man, I want to do this so badly, but she wouldn't let me, despite my begging. Oh, there's Pete.
There's Pete.
Happening?
Say hi, Pete.
hey.
How's it going? I can't hear.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's happening?
Want to hear?
Can I? All right.
We'll share.
Oh wow. This is
We're joining in.
What's
Hey,
happening?
Pete. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Pete.
What are you guys doing?
Dave Black?
Can you guys see me?
We can see you.
Yeah,
What are you guys talking about? You guys talking about like cars or something?
Well, Dave was telling a great story. Someone asked on the chat tell us about blasting your sound at the mall.
Oh.
And then he tells the story that he bought this high watt amp.
Okay.
And he's driving along. I don't know. You can fill him in, Dave. He's driving along. And you tell the story. I just heard it.
So we pull over and we decide, wow, let's throw this shit up on back of the mall and see what it sounds like. So you plug it in, turn it on, wake it up, just go wild for a couple minutes. It just sounds great, just echoing down this concrete and shit, But we set it all up against the back wall of the movie theater, and everybody's in there watching movies while I'm going wild out in the alley on the other side of the wall. Yeah, they ran us out, man.
So
go
then the
home.
security came.
What the
Pack that
hell?
shit up, go home, get out of here. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And you were 15, you said.
Yeah. Before I was like in bands or anything, I just wanted to just do it so bad. I would just go anywhere and just play anywhere, you know, anywhere. Sure.
Yeah.
The back parking lot of the movie theater. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So, Pete, how was Japan?
Oh, it was great. A lot of fun. Ton of fun. Was there a long time? You know, it's hard work. They work hard over there, guys.
Yeah.
Long days, long rehearsals. Everybody's working hard. So but it's great. I love it.
That's cool. Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. Big shows.
Yeah, the shows are amazing. Yeah, shows are really fun. Just talking, that was a big one.
Someone was asking in the chat when you're going to be doing a Friedman pedal review. I think.
The Dirty Shirley. He's giving them to me. This guy. So I just got to do it.
In the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll knock one out pretty quick.
2.
Okay. Yeah, someone asked in the chat. I don't know.
You're breaking up. I can't. Oh, you're right there. I can't do that.
Two videos.
That's funny. So no, that's cool. That's great. Yeah, I'm glad you had a good time in Japan. And now I have to ask: is the gray hair is that a new thing or is
Not real.
Kind of purple.
Purple, really, right?
Oh, okay.
Kind of purpley gray.
Started out blue, and now, or it was kind of like titanium, and now I don't know what.
Now
it is.
it's titanium purple.
It's faded into The sides are real. The top is not.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, because I saw some pictures of you playing, I was like, someone even commented, they're like, "Oh, where do you get the gray hair?" I was like, "Oh, it does look gray."
Out of a bottle.
On the sides, there's some real gray.
Not like you though.
No, not like me.
That's all right. I take care of it myself.
Gotta have a little fun every now and then. You know?
That's cool. That's cool. So what have you been up to?
Trying to get over my jet lag. Really, it's like I got back a week ago. That's about it. And but no, I've made a few videos. I put out another one today. I put out kind of a cool video actually on EQ and guitars, using this really cool pedal. It's a Tech 21 pedal called the Q Strip. It's kind of like a Neve sort of thing in a pedal. Like it's like a dual parametric mid-band EQ. It's real powerful. It's cool. People don't get that excited about EQ, but it's actually really cool. Like for one sound, I used it in front of an amp and just cranked the mids and got kind of a cool sort of stuck wah thing. And cranked the level. You know, you can do all kinds of neat things you can use. That's fun. Like the underappreciated pedal.
It's the underappreciated pedal, but also the pedal that someone could have disastrous results with.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they don't know what they're doing.
If they don't know what they're doing. But it's always been a cool, you've probably known a ton of great guitar players. This used to be more of a thing in the 80s where guys would use EQs in their loops.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like a parametric to kind of shape the tone. And I mean, Mesas, obviously, they had a little graphic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of fun, though.
Nothing wrong with that as long as you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Really kind of cool. I mean, I used to know guys who use like 31 band graphics and stuff.
That's too many options.
31.
31 band graphic in your guitar amp, that's way too many options, man.
Wow.
Yeah, 10.
I remember using the PQ3 back in the day.
There you go. Yeah, right.
The 4-way one.
Yeah.
And you use that in front, right? To boost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That like a lot. Who else did that?
What? How early was that? That was before you did the DBX thing, or?
No, that was like we'd use it with the H&H and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Dummy load and that thing just to try and keep it all together. I don't know.
Oh, did you put the PQ3 after your amp? Before the
I think it was in the loop.
Before the power amp?
Mistaken. It was a while ago. I think we put it in the loop too.
Oh, in the loop.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But those were used by, who else used a PQ? That was real famous.
Warren DeMartini, I think he used it early on a little bit.
And somebody else.
Dimebag.
Was a real
Daryl used it.
Part of their tone.
Dimebag.
Probably not a lot of people know that stuff. It's a whole.
No, that's a cool thing. Boosting in front of a stock Marshall.
With that.
Just boost the shit out of it. Yeah. EQ it how you want. It's great.
Yeah.
It's noisy as hell.
In front, or are you talking about
in front?
Yeah, in front. Yeah.
Back in the day, I mean, like everyone put everything in front.
Right.
I mean, it was like they used lexicons and stuff in front of their amp and everything because it was just like 4 input Marshalls and cranked up and boost it with the EQ, and
Stand back.
did like a little doubler with the delay. You know, that was
Or
a
even
common thing.
Using the edge, right? Using
Yeah.
like the chord delays in front.
Yeah, stand back. That's all they knew. That's all they had.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Sticking stuff in the front end.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
They made do with what little they had. You know, they just found their sounds with,
and got some amazing sounds. You know, I was thinking about this.
They were forced to get sounds, unique sounds, just like you, Dave. You used that DBX in your thing, and you got this sound, and that was a sound, and that a unique sound, and a lot of great players had these unique sounds, like you know, Ty Tabor from King's X, and
Brian May,
Eddie Van Halen, and Brian May, and it was all about like little things to boost other things, and the culmination of all these things together made this cool signature sound. And then later they change amps and they ruin their whole scene.
Yeah, and well, these days we talk a lot about, like, you know, modelers and stuff, which are all cool, and you know, great uses for those things and stuff, and also just kind of like real versatile amps with tons of features and stuff like that. But the reality, when I was thinking about this the other day, to talk about kind of the decline of guitar in popular music or whatever, or I noticed something with a lot of young guitar players. There's a lot of young guitar players are really great, right? But there's this thing these days, I thought a lot about this like yesterday, this thing these days where basically they don't know that much, like their idea of tone is, and this is largely a product of the, like I see in the way the industry I'm in, is being a side guy a lot of times. You got to go out and use a rental amp and stuff, and it's just kind of dictated to you, you know? So a lot of young guitar players are used to, like, I don't know, a Hot Rod DeVille, get me whatever, right? And they get a basic amp with a decent clean channel, and then they shove some pedals in the front, and they use pedals for everything. And they don't really know anything about the stuff we're talking about. Like taking a, you know, an old Marshall that, you know, and like boosting it with something to get your, because they're used to using some pedal for their distortion. So basically their idea of a guitar tone is sort of kind of a very neutral kind of raw, clean sound, and then some pedals. And it's like, that's huge. And then if it's not that, it's like modeling, you know, oh, I'll use a Kemper or whatever, and then I'll just get, and what it's kind of done is sort of turned the guitar into almost, it's kind of, I've started to compare it, sort of like a keyboard sound. It's almost like the guitar is like another synthesizer sort of sound, you know, where it's just another thing, and it's not like this, you know. Think about that, and then contrast that with like fucking Brian May or something.
Here's what I want to hear. You want something cool, you know, take your fucking fuzz pedal and plug it into an old Ampeg amp and crank that fucker on 10 and see what that motherfucker sounds like.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll knock the birds out of the air.
Right.
I mean, it'll scare the living bejesus out of everyone in sight. But that's a cool tone. That's like a Queens of the Stone Age kind of thing.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I was just going to say, that sounds like Josh right there, you know.
And that's cool.
Right.
That's cool.
Or Royal Blood, right? Like those guys, that guy's got a whole rig designed around, like, you know, however he's switching.
Bunch of amps and
the bass switching in, low strings. He's got a whole thing. And there it's like one example of, like, there ain't many of them these days, but a guy that's got a thing. It's like,
George Pahone too, doing that same thing with Cairo Night Fight. He's doing the switching, the same thing, bass and kicking in different amps and layers of stuff, and it's just give me, you know, it doesn't really matter. Just give me something interesting, you know. And don't be afraid to turn it up, and just, which doesn't exist anymore really, but
it will. Well, it doesn't.
But it can.
It does in that band.
It does in that band. And like I always said when we talk about this modeler debate and stuff, those bands are never using modelers.
Generally not.
You're not going to see Queens of the Stone Age use an Axe Effects.
No, but you know what? If some guy
you're not
going to
use Royal Blood either.
I totally agree. But if some guy came out with an Axe Effects and cranked it, like however cranking it up with an Axe Effects, it to me, it's like just somebody that's got a real unique thing that jazzes other guitar, like, oh, what is that? And kids go, that's crazy. That sounds insane. Because that's what happens.
You got to scare the living shit out of people.
Yeah, you just freak people out with how good it sounds, and that's what'll revitalize guitar. Because right now it's just kind of like, oh, guitar. It's like, oh, I could play guitar, I could play keyboards, I could play bass, I could play, it's all the same. Whatever. It's just kind of like one of the sounds, and that's like, no. Back in the day, it was like, that was like insane sounding, right? Like, You know?
Do you remember the time we were at the amp show and Zach Wilde was there?
Yeah.
And we were at the LA amp show and Zach Wilde came into George Metropolis's room and he's like, let's string
When I was
these.
playing?
Yeah, you were playing, like, let's turn on, let me show you what I do. And he plugged into 2 freaking 100-watt half stacks and turned them on 10 into the hotel room.
Yeah. He was down on the floor plugging the shit in.
He was
while I
plugging
playing.
it in, and Pete was playing,
He was
and
real
it was
cool.
like
He was
this.
sharing his beer.
It
with
was like this sonic. You sit there and literally it was so
me. So
loud,
fucking-
but it was warm. It was nice. It was so loud it almost felt like you were floating out of the room because the sound pressure level was so intense on stage. You know that feel. I'm sure you remember the days when you were playing on stage, Dave, when you were probably cranking loud. And,
Oh, yeah.
and there's nothing like
Where you can feel it on the back of your pant legs.
back of the
Right.
pant legs, and you can feel it under your fingertips. The notes are just singing off the
Yeah.
guitar neck because it's so freaking loud.
Dave, there used to be a band in LA called, and you kind of remind me of this guy, and you remember these guys, I think, but they were called Plexi. That was the name of the band.
Yeah, I know. I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were. I was in a band. This is 20 years ago. I was in a band that shared a rehearsal space with them. And the guitar player kind of reminds me of you a little bit, Dave. And he played through 200-watt plexis on stage, and the bass player used 2 SVTs with 810 caps stacked on their sides in clubs.
Yep.
In clubs here in
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah. Sure.
You go in and see them play. It was like you could barely hear the vocals. It was awesome. It was like that sounds
Yeah.
fucking great.
Great.
So cool.
So loud it would just melt faces in the front row.
Just
Good
great.
tone though.
SVTs are great, man. SVTs are a lost art form too. You know what I mean? Like an old SVT rig. There's something about when you hear somebody play through an SVT and it's set up right, it's something you can feel as well as something you can hear. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just.
Well, it was
Old
like I
school
remember
fun.
seeing you guys and Mark used to have. There was a time, at least when I remember seeing him, when there was 2 SVT cabinets on their side, and he would run a SVT and a high watt 100-watt head.
Yeah.
It was into each cabinet,
That's cool.
and it was the high watt was all the cut and the dirt and grit, and the SVT was just a you know,
The boom
and like
the bob,
together it was
yeah.
like you know, you know, and that was just you heard 2 notes out of the rig and you're just like, oh yeah, that's good, that's good, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Chuck would come in with his drums, the bump, and
Still a good thing to go for, man. I'm not saying that, and it's just like, wow. That's why I think it's great that I crossed paths with you, because you still think like that. You still make things that do stuff like that. How many amplifiers have we all plugged into that don't give you that feeling? You know what I mean? It's like, wow, that's it. You know, that ain't it. No, that ain't it. You know, it's, yeah, I don't know.
It's true.
that's true, true.
Well, I gotta go back to work, guys. But rocking
Oh, well, thanks for visiting with us.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Dave.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks to see both you
Take
fellas.
care, man. Good seeing you again.
All right, take it easy.
Take care, Pete.
Make some videos.
Oh yeah.
Mine.
Aye.
That's funny.
You got a deadline.
Someone really did ask that question, by the way. I wasn't
What
just me.
question? Was me?
Yeah, when,
Oh, okay.
when he was making the video, it wasn't just me busting his balls.
No. I didn't think it was, but
Yeah.
well, yeah, he's supposed to do it already. Yeah, but he hasn't yet. So
Okay.
if everything goes right, everyone, you should see a Pete Thorn video of one of the pedals released on the release day of the pedal,
Oh, nice.
and then probably a week later will be the other video released. So, and now which one it's going to be first, I'm not sure.
Hmm.
We already have the 2 videos from Sean, so there'll be 2 from Pete, and then there'll be some more videos too that we have some other guys did too. That'll be released later in the month.
Very good. Awesome.
Kind of staggered releasing them.
I want to give say hi to U.S. American Made Guitars. He contacted me and said he was going to watch the show. Nice guy.
All
So
right.
he says, "Cool show, guys. My first time watching." So thanks for making it on.
Hey, David Marshall's on here.
David Marshall.
Dave Marshall from Nashville.
Oh, did I meet him?
He did play at our event, if that's the same Dave Marshall that I'm assuming it is, but I can't see his picture on here.
Okay.
I'm pretty
That's
sure
cool.
it is.
Very cool.
Oh, right on.
You remember Dave? He was hanging out.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let's see. Let's see if there's any other questions. I don't see any. Did you see any other questions, Dave? Oh, someone said, Dave, I would love to see somebody do a demo of the Buxom Betty, or the Buck. I assume they mean the Buxom Boost, but in an effects loop only.
Oh, okay. We haven't done that yet, but maybe maybe I can get Pete to do that in his video, or maybe for a portion of it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else says, Frank Quinn said, on your P90 guitar, would you consider Joe Barden P90s for it? You know, to be honest, I mean, if you'd like to order it with Joe Barden P90s, I'm sure we could work that out on a custom order. But we do make our own pickups. So, but if you really want something else, we can always work that out.
Try theirs
Sure, it would
first.
be a, yeah, try it first, exactly. The Joe Bardens
Try
might
theirs
be
first,
hum
bro.
canceling, though. I'm not exactly sure. Whatever you guys want, it's just maybe a slight upcharge.
Okay. I've seen this question a few times, so I want to address it. Craig Phillips says, what do you guys think of Greta Van Fleet? I honestly have not heard of that band.
They're awesome.
Okay.
It's like young Led Zeppelin reincarnated.
Oh.
Did I send them to you guys?
You sent it to me
No.
originally. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
They're-
a lot of people are talking about coming around here now.
They're cool. I mean, you know what? Any young band that is doing that sort of music, great. We need more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
if anyone's listening from that band, contact me. I got some amps for you, maybe. So would love to work with you guys.
They're doing the Viper Room here coming up pretty soon. I was looking at their schedule the other day.
They're doing where?
Yeah, they got a bunch of dates coming up, but I was looking for the California date, and they're playing out there.
Oh, okay.
At the Viper Room.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But I mean, yeah, they're really cool. The other band I really like is along the lines of that style of music would be that Adriane Vandenberg's Moon Kings.
Yeah, I'm ready to play some of that.
Yeah. It's just riff rock, you know. It's riff rock. It's cool, old school riff rock with a
Okay,
good
a great
singer.
player, man.
And in fact, he just emailed me again recently because I had talked to him before. He was interested in trying out some amps, and but we've just recently chatted again online because it's funny. He emailed me because I liked his he has a teaser video for this new album that's coming out, and I just pressed like on Facebook, and then he emailed me. What a trip.
That's cool.
Yeah. He's super nice, man. I keep going, when are you coming to the States? I want to see you guys. And they did
solo record when it came out. That blue solo record of his.
Yeah. And his original Vandenberg, like way back, you know.
Mm.
That was cool stuff too. That was really great stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of his. Absolutely. I hope they come to the States this time around, and I would like to go see them. So.
Mm. Yeah, someone's wrote Irons 18 wrote Vandenberg would sound amazing through a Friedman.
Yeah. He uses old Marshalls that are that were modded by Jose now.
Mm.
So yeah, it's in the ballpark of the kind of tones that Friedmans get. So
Nice.
for sure.
So here, letters ask, question for all three. What's your favorite piece of gear that you no longer have and miss? Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
That's a good question.
What are you going to say, Dave?
Jeez, that's like a laundry list.
Is that your red telly?
No, man, it's probably even other. When I was 15, I had a 63 reverse Thunder or Firebird, serial number 147226. Anybody sees it out there, let me know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I bought it for $500 in the original case off the original owner. That and a 59 double cut junior that I bought off Mark when I first met him. I wish I still had that.
Speaking of Mark, Mark's on here on the chat.
Mark Andrews?
Mark says hi from Nashville.
Hey.
So.
Oh, I missed that. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
Going back.
Maybe like 20 minutes ago, but
Okay.
Hi, Mark. Late. We're just catching up with the comments.
That's cool. No, that's great. Let's see. There was one other question here, Dave. They want to know if you ever mess around with Vox circuits.
I've serviced a ton of Voxes over the years. I haven't, as of yet, made any Vox circuits. Though there's this whole vintage line that I keep talking about wanting to do, which would include some classic amps, like a great clone of an amazing Vox. I have one in mind that I would like to clone, and a great clone of my 50-watt Plexi. Traditional 4-input style. Just like just old school, crank it up and go kind of thing.
Non-master volume.
Non-master volume amps, yeah. Because like I said, I've said this before, I have a huge background in all that. So, and a love for it. I love nothing better than a vintage copper top boost AC30. Cranked up.
I bought one of those off Good Ale.
Just, man, that thing, like a good one, really cranked, it's nasty and dirty and badass, it's mean, like a Marshall almost, At least the one I'm really thinking of is. I have access to one that's really amazing. So I'd love to clone that.
That's cool. I bet you that would sell.
Yeah, I don't know. We were talking about doing it as a different brand name under by Friedman kind of, and kind of delve into some of the vintage amps that I would really like to do. They'd probably be in smaller quantities and really
limited,
high end, really limited sort of runs of stuff. But that would be a lot of fun to do.
Yeah.
Not you're not going to sell 1 million of them. So it's more of a project of love than anything else.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about limited stuff, I mean,
yeah,
probably be a lot of demand for it. Let's see. Website says Greta is playing the Troubadour October 29th and 30. Better than the Viper Room.
You're right. It is better than the Viper Room.
Maybe I got it wrong. I could have had it wrong.
I might go see him there then.
Paper the other day.
That's cool.
I could have made a mistake.
And by the way, getting back to gear that you sold, for me, I had a PRS, a lefty PRS, custom 22, 10 top, violin burst. It was just gorgeous. I had gotten it right when I started learning guitar, and I just couldn't get past the heel on it. I don't know if anybody's ever played a PRS before, but they've got these really big heels in the guitar. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get past it. And I sold the guitar, and then they stopped making lefties, and then they went up in value big time. And I love the guitar, and I don't even know why I sold it. So that was my why did I sell that kind of thing? I miss it. What about you, Dave Friedman?
I have a lot of stuff I regret getting rid of. I had a whole ton of old Marshalls I regret getting rid of. Man, like a ton of them. I remember there's this beat up all wood. Someone stripped the Tolex off of it. 50-watt plexi Marshall I had back when I was maybe 16, 17. And it had a mod on it that I think, well, I had two amps. I remember one amp Dan Russell had done a mod on that I bought off Steve Goodall, the Dave. And then I think this plexi, I can't quite remember. I might have had the mod just copied, maybe by Bruce Egnator, and put in this amp. But this amp was just sweet. It was great. I think I got it for next to nothing at the time too. It was just, but you know, strip box, completely strip box, so bare wood, and it was just this old Plexi 50, and had so much vibe to it. And I regret selling that amp. That amp sounded really great. And then other than that, I also had a metal badge 2-tone JTM 45, known as the coffin badge era, which now go for about $22,000. At the time I sold it, I probably sold it for $5,000. So I wish I still had that just so I could sell it now. I also wish I had bought all those Les Pauls and Guitars for Stars when I was a kid for $350.
Oh yeah,
$350 70s, early 70s Les Pauls all day long. Early 70s Les Pauls. What do they go for now? Shit, they go quite a bit.
Do they really?
Well, quite a bit more than $350.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, and you could have bought that stuff all day long. I mean, the 50-watt plexi that I have, I bought for $300.
Oh my
God.
That's what I got that plexi for, $300.
Yeah, the same thing, man. You could get that stuff all day long for then.
Yeah, piles of it.
And now that amp, if you were to sell it, probably 10,000.
Yeah.
Or 50-watt.
Or oh, mine? Yeah, it's not 10,000, but it's
No, really?
It's probably 5.
Oh, a 68 plexi? I would think it would go for more than that.
No, I just sold a plexi tremolo head, the Jeff Pilson, for around $5K. That was.
Is that one from Motor City?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
man. When I made it super lead spec because it was super bass kind of spec, you know, and I just kind of fixed it up a little bit, and it was already serviced, so it just needed some slight tweaking, and it was a monster when it was done. It sounded killer. It was good. Wow. And he came in, him and George Lynch came in and listened to it, and they compared it to George's plexi and my 50-watt, and in the end, George is like, man, that sounds better than my amp.
That's funny.
So I'm like, there you go. Good. It's done. Sold.
Right. Exactly. I did my job.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wish I had my original guitar and my original amp too, which was a Fender Deluxe Reverb Silverface Deluxe Reverb and Fender Music Master guitar, early 70s one. I just wish I had that for the hell of it, you know?
Yeah.
In the original condition it was in then when I first got it, before I sanded it down and painted it and made it other things and ruined it essentially.
Oh man. Oh, you know, the other amp that I regret selling was a 50s Champ.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Yeah, like the one that's back there, but it was all beat up and it was really nice.
Yeah, I have one of those too.
Yeah,
I probably regret selling that too.
Yeah, they went up in price too. I mean, I sold it at the time. I bought it for $500. I sold it for $500, and now they're $1,500, $2,000.
Well, I think I really regret selling my Fender Deluxe Reverb because I wanted more distortion. So, of course, you know, what I get then after that as a kid is a PV Renown amp. A PV Renown. Remember those?
No.
Well, yeah, that was pretty common. Pretty common. You'd see those in Detroit and stuff, you know, like. Yeah, that's a beautiful distortion there, boy. Uh-huh. It had more distortion, all right.
Metal Zone in a box.
Kind of, yeah. Metazone's probably worse, but.
Wow, that's. Hey, we got a question for Dave Black. What is the 335 looking guitar that you play in Seduce? They want to say looks like a 335 or some sort, but not Gibson.
It's a Gibson.
Oh, it's a Gibson. There you go.
Yeah.
You have
About
it?
90. Pardon me
You
now?
have it sitting right there?
Yeah, you want to see it?
Yeah,
Sure.
let's see it.
Where's that?
It's show and tell time.
Wow. Hang on.
I love 335s. I actually had one I bought from Guitar Center for $800. It was used. I sold it for 16 on eBay.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah,
Good profit.
Check that
one of
out.
the few times. Oh, let's see.
There it is.
Can you see?
Yeah.
It's got a great flame on the top.
Oh, back on.
Oh shit, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I sanded the neck off though, but
Oh, you did? 'Cause I was going to say. So
there's no finish on the neck. Sprizzels, refret. It's kind of beat up. I played a bunch of shows with this thing. We got to hear that through a Marshall. Oh my God, you know, it's frightening.
wow,
Yeah,
that's nice.
That's cool.
What year is that?
Very cool. A 90, I think.
Very
The
cool.
sticker's gone out of the outside. God, I love this guitar.
Oh, the wood on the back. Did you use any kind of stain on that or anything? Or you just sanded off the on the back of the neck?
Back of the neck, I just sanded it. Just took the finish off it.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I know I fucked it up, but it's mine, so
No, it looks
I'm
good.
not gonna get rid of it. You know, I felt better when I seen Bill Nash was doing his Les Pauls that way. I'm like, well, I'm not the only one doing it, so that's cool. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who like having feeling the bare
No
wood.
finish?
Yeah, they just like the bare wood.
Oh, that's so much better. I mean,
Feels great.
sticky lacquer or something. No, it's just your hand slides up and down the neck much better. I mean, I do that to every guitar I have.
Do you really?
Oh, if it's got any sort of lacquer on the back, it's coming off.
Yeah,
The,
I
only,
can't do it
the only
anymore.
thing I haven't done it on is the one black Bernie Les Paul thing I have. I didn't do it on that. That one's pretty comfortable. It's not too sticky. So
Yeah, you know, I mean, a lot of my guitars are bare, like the bare wood, like the Wolfgangs that I have, and a couple other ones. But the Jackson I just got and Grover's, you know, the Concord you just sent me, they're smooth as silk on the back, even though they're you know painted. So it's not that bad, at least for me. I don't mind it. But everybody's different.
Oh yeah, totally.
Um,
Personal preference.
Yeah, exactly. Someone said, "What is Dave Freedman's Phil X?" That's the well, I'll
What
let
is
you,
it?
Dave. Someone wants to know what is Dave Freedman's Phil X. I guess that's the
the
model.
X amp, it's a single channel. It's kind of like a single channel BE with a few extra little gain taper switches and kind of a voltage switch that raises and lowers the voltage to the amp. So it's like more headroomy and bigger or smaller and you know, more compressed. It's just a really no nonsense rock and roll amp. It has a second master volume and that's it. One channel, second master volume to boost for solos, and that's it. Use your volume knob on your guitar. Call it a day. Yeah,
Nice.
it's cool. I like
Yeah.
it simple like that.
Yep. Yeah, and he's a monster player. He really is a great player. And he landed a great gig.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see the movie oh, now I'm the one that he was just in. What is it called? Not Sideman. Is it called Sideman or what's it called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's the Sideman movie thing.
Oh,
hired
shit. Yeah, yeah.
gun.
Hired Gun. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, you need to see it.
Yeah, I haven't even. If it gets on my cable somehow or something, I'll find it.
Oh, you can get it on iTunes.
Oh yeah, I'll rent it. I'll see it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I'll tell you. Did you see it, Dave Black?
No, I haven't. I heard about it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you have to see it. I'll tell you. After seeing that movie, Billy Joel, that movie makes Billy Joel look like the biggest dick. It's so bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really bad. So, but Phil X was great in it. He had some great stories. He showed some great playing. I was wondering if they were going to show a Friedman amp, but I don't think I saw anything.
Hey, there's some questions here that I see.
Oh yeah, what do you got?
Kimberly St. James says, when's Seduce's next show?
Wow. Soon. Soon? Yeah, I don't know.
Good question. You guys, Mark
One
and
in
you
the
talk.
works, right? Yeah.
Then we got, will we ever see the BE100 tweak as the BE50 Deluxe? Meaning, will there be a BE100 Deluxe? I would say yes, there will be in the very near future. So, which might mean the BE100 might, after the BE100 Deluxe comes out, then I don't think the BE100 would still be around. So,
And just replace it.
it would just replace it, yeah. Because I mean, I don't. It's too overlapping. I don't see why. And I can only have so many amps. You know, dealers can only support so many amps.
Right. Is it possible it could be an option that someone can say, I want?
It's possible. Anything's possible right now. I don't have definitive plans on that one yet, but we've talked about doing the BE100 Deluxe, and that's all we've talked about so far. We just talked about it.
Right.
What the real plans are, I don't know. We'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I like the story of the BE combo.
yeah,
The 900-pound BE
yeah,
combo.
well, you know what? We made a few 212 BE100 combos, and let me tell you, that's not something you want to carry.
No.
That pull your arm out of your socket. Then someone asked Dave Freedman, what settings did EVH run on this Plexi at? Well, that's easy. Everything on 10. Right across the bottom of the knob, straight across, done.
Mm-hmm.
There's your settings.
On whose Plexi?
Van Halen's.
Oh, right.
Everything on 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, you just take an old Plexi and turn everything on 10. It sounds killer.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet.
Louder than hell.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Now I like to talk, when you guys were talking to Steve Stevens, there was the whole 9-gauge strings with the bass he had. Remember all of that? Like all the things that make it,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to it. With his thing, it was that Plexi amp, but with 6 CA7 power tubes, and biased a certain way to run with the Variac. Ran the Variac low, but it was biased hot, so then it was sort of biased for the Variac down low. And 9-gauge strings. Not just 9-gauge strings, 9 to 40. So that's a little lighter even on the low strings.
Really slinky.
So you really slinky, but and tuned to E flat, by the way.
Right.
But you're not getting a lot of bass out of the guitar at that point. So your amp that might sometimes be a little flubbier, say if you have 10s on it, your old Plexi, is a lot tighter then. You just the bass response isn't the same with the strings. If you go up to 11, let's say you go from 9-gauge to a 10-gauge set, there's more bass. If you go from a 10-gauge to 11-gauge set, there's way more bass and it's way darker. And
more thunk.
More thunk. And there's a fine line. Sometimes too heavy strings just don't get the tone anymore. You know, and like we were talking in Steve Stevens, a lot of those players, like, you know, Billy Gibbons and stuff, were used really light gauge strings. Tony Iommi too.
Yeah, 7 or 8s.
But you know, they're hitting. It's a whole different touch and a whole different attack and a whole different everything. They, you know, they can't quite smack it the same way. You know, because you're going to smack it too hard, it's going to go right out of tune.
Yeah.
You know, you're just going to bend that note way too far, and it's going to sound like it's bad. So you got to have a different touch. But all that played into the tone. So you know, you have to have all of it to really try to get it. And then you got to try to be able to play a guitar from 9 to 40 strings at E flat.
Like
and
and
not bend it out of tune. You know, when you smack the E string, the whole different touch.
On a vintage style trim too.
Originally, yes.
Yeah, try to keep that in tune.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but the grooves in the brass nut on his guitar were about the width. You know, it was like a train track going down. I mean, he had these huge grooves and really deep, so the strings would just slide right through those grooves like nothing.
Right.
I saw a guitar actually that they were making a replica of, and the nut was done just like that. And I'm like looking at it and going, "Wow, those grooves are super wide and super deep." And you're like, "I get it."
I got a Strat with someone who did a nut like that.
I get it, because the string won't pop out of the nut, and it won't get hung up at all in the nut. You know,
with a brass nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no tension on the string. It's barely like it's kind of flopping around in the groove.
Yeah. Interesting.
But it worked.
Oh yeah, it worked all right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Did you have any other questions, Dave, that you saw?
Oh, someone.
Someone wanted to know what Dave Black's amp Friedman is, and that's a small box.
Yeah.
50 watt.
With maybe a few
Small
slight
box
tweaks.
50.
Oh, with some slight tweaks.
With ever so slight tweaks.
Sounds great.
And it's got the really super cool park knobs on it.
Yeah. You see?
Oh, you know what, Dave? Somebody asked me also a couple questions for you. Any update on when the set neck guitars are coming out?
Yeah, we'll have them out for NAMM in January. Updated versions of them, and a lot of cool ones we'll have at the show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that makes super cool.
And there was one other one, but now I just.
And we'll have the vintage. We'll have the vintage S neck also, or vintage S, not neck, vintage S guitar.
Which is different than the Cali?
It's the it's a vintage trim, 2-post vintage trim with a pick guard. It's a little more traditional, you know.
Okay.
Sort of guitar. Someone said something about pedal board parts or things about pedal boards. Building pedal boards, favorite patch cable, specific pedal order. Man, you know, Ray, Tyler, just, you know what, email me. That'll be easier probably to go into it more in depth. But, I mean, we make our own cables, so I don't use really pre-made things. And pedal order, well, it depends on what you have exactly. So there's certain things play well in different spots. So you got to kind of tell me what you have before I can answer that.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to answer. Let's see. Any hardtail Callies? Someone wants to know.
We can do it. I talked to Grover about that. Someone else asked that question recently, and yeah, I think we might have some at the show. We might do one for the show, but they can be ordered that way now currently.
Okay. We have another question. BV Ninja wants to know what did Eddie run the Variac transformer at? I think it was at 90. That's what I heard.
Generally speaking, around 90. But there's various times in his career that he experimented with it up higher and lower, and whatever sounded good that day.
Yeah.
We used to do it up high.
Yeah, watch the tubes melt.
Yeah, just getting boxes of EL34s from RS Electronics because you're retubing it like every 6 shows. Yeah, it's great.
I wish I could find, good tubes all the time now. Yeah, but that was the day you could get good tubes.
Yeah. Oh, we got some good questions here. Rango asked, flame maple neck on the new S-style guitar, Dave? I think you can get flame maple necks, right?
Not particularly, but I'm sure we could do something custom for you. We've done bird's eye fingerboards on some of the Callies before. Generally, we don't use flame maple on the necks, though.
Gotcha. Okay.
But anything's possible. So,
effect on tone of PEC pots on amps. Francisco Guardian.
Really? You'd be hard pressed to hear the difference, to be honest. A PEC pot is a very nice pot, but you're very hard pressed to hear the difference.
Okay. By the way, someone asked, I think it was Rocamp or someone asked earlier, if I was affected by the storm, by Irma. Thankfully, no. I didn't lose power for the most part, and didn't have really any damage. So we got very lucky. Knock on wood. So thanks for asking. I appreciate it. Dave, any plans for Friedman pickups? I know you talked about that before.
Well, they exist in the guitars right now. As far as aftermarket pickups, yeah, I think we might see those at NAMM.
Nice.
Because a lot of people have been asking about aftermarket pickups because they like the pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the pickup.
I do. I don't want to change it. Usually that's the first thing I change on a guitar, and I don't change it. I haven't, yeah.
Yeah. No, it sounds good.
German music production says, which tube vendor? I don't know what he's asking.
Tube vendor. That's a good question. Right now, all EL34s are crap to me. So I don't have a good answer for that at the moment. I've had problems with the Chinese TAD EL34s. I've had problems with the JJ, lots of problems with the JJ EL34s as of late. I don't have a lot of choices, really. There's just not a lot of choices. To be honest, I almost want to switch amps over to 5881 power tubes. I did a test actually in the normal BE100 with 5881 power tubes and lined it up with an amp switcher with another amp with EL34s in it and switched back and forth, in real time. And the settings identical, maybe slightly changed, like ever so slightly for the other tubes. And honestly, they were pretty much identical in my particular amp.
Did you have to change the transformer or anything?
It's getting to be it's getting to be a real problem that it's not something I necessarily want to necessarily switch, and the only reason I don't want to necessarily switch from the EL34s is just because of what people think in their head. I can actually prove to you I can prove to you that that's not true. But it's what they think in their head. But then again, if I continue to get completely unreliable tubes, what you tell me, what am I supposed to do? In the kind of quantities we use, that's when we really see it. You know, we make a lot of amps, so we see failures, and it costs us a lot of money when they start failing in the field and stuff. You know, a lot.
Time and money.
Time and money. So, and we're trying to do extra procedures on our screening of them, basically beating them with a screwdriver while they're going full blast, you know, and trying to get them to fail. And we'll see. We'll see. I'm not overly happy about it at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pain in the ass. And you've been talking about it
totally pain in the ass.
For months.
And, you know, and people will come out and say, well, I can get good set of EO34s. Yeah, you can get one good set of EO34s, sure.
Right.
Now try to get 3,000 good sets of EO34s. That's where the problem comes. You know?
Yep.
I have an amp on my bench over here that some guy just sent me, and he got a new set of tubes to replace the old set that failed. And the new set of tubes that he got from some other vendor, when I had them, they all failed too. So I had to put yet another set of tubes in it. It's kind of getting ridiculous.
Unreal.
For me.
So outside of people's perception of 5881s, is there any production change of the amps that you have to make to put?
Nope.
So if someone just wanted to go ahead and just say, I don't want to, you know, use EL34s, I just want to put 5881s in my
yeah. Now I'm not saying 6L6s in general. I'm specifically saying Sovtech 5881s, not 5881s WXTs or anything like that. Just the standard Sovtech 5881 6L6. That's what they're called. There's no bass on them. They're just same thing Soldano uses in his amps. They're extreme. We use them in Dirty Shirleys. We've used them in Dirty Shirleys from the day one. And to be honest, I mean, no one ever says anything about them being in a Dirty Shirley. They just like the Dirty Shirley. And it's still a very Marshall-y sounding amp. The perception that the 6L6 is that much different from the EL34, well, some 6L6s sound quite a bit different than the EL34s. 5881s don't sound hardly at all different in our amplifier, at least, with our transformer. So, and again, I proved it. I put it on the bench and like went back and forth, you know, with an amp switcher in real time where you really can hear it at all volume levels. And I'm talking like, if you change the dials to match it, it's like, you know, less than a quarter, like just like a smidge, not even a notch on the dial, you know, just like a little tiny bit of a change on the dial. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not saying I'm doing that, but
yeah,
it is an option if all else fails.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to have those tubes in my amp at all. I think sound great. So.
Someone said, Dave F., how about old RFT EL34s? I mean,
well, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, we're going to get 3,000 of them.
You can go buy those and all day long for $100 to $200 per tube, and put them in your amp if you want for you. But for me in production, I'm talking, you know, like I need 3,000 tubes, 3,000 sets of tubes that work reliably. That's not going to happen, you know?
Yeah. And the question BB Ninja's asking, what's the current problem? The current problem is, and Dave, you can say it more, but they're just failing, right? Or they have their microphonic, or
they're failing. I mean, the Chinese versions of the EL34s that I was using with TAD, they had tons of shorting problems. The new batch of JJ EL34s that we've been using lately have been failing left and right also. Some red plating, some have little ghost noises, crackles in them. They're still working, but they're crackling. Other times they just short. And these are already pre-tested tubes, by the way.
Right.
Pre-tested, and we burn in the amps for 24 hours. And then I've been testing them extra lately on the bench, literally beating them with a screwdriver. It really just hitting the tubes with the screwdriver, you know, and that weeds out. You find the bad tube. If there's a bad tube that's going to go bad, you generally find it there. I mean, we do everything we can to try to make it fail before it leaves the factory. As of late, as we've been seeing like this trend, you know,
That sucks.
it takes a lot of extra time on my part to make sure, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we switched to a new vendor of our EL34s, and they seem to be a bit better than our old vendors. So we'll see.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a couple more questions. I'm starting to fade. Dave, how do you compensate for component tolerance for different amps? Tolerant differences on amps, they say.
You know, to be honest, it's not that different. I mean, you have more differences in, you know, if you change 4 different preamp tubes in the first slot of your amp, right? 4 of the same brand. There's more of a difference between those 4 different preamp tubes of the same kind than there is in the components in your amp. It just doesn't add up to be that much. And I've proven this time and time again with an amp switcher, like I said, with 2 different amps. And you can just sit there and just tweak the knob slightly different, and it's the same.
I just saw a really funny comment. Dave F., can I be hired as to beat your tubes looking for an aggression outlet?
That's great.
I like that.
I like it.
I'd be all for Freedman amps switching to 5881s. We've got some good comments. Awesome show tonight. Austin Steele, question for Dave Freedman. I have a 68 Super Reverb, and every time I hit a low note on the guitar, the amp crackles and makes noise.
So you're going to ask me what that is?
Right.
Well, that could be all sorts of things. You could have a bad speaker. You could have a kind of a microphonic power tube. You could have a loose connection in the amplifier that's rattling. You could have a loose power tube socket that's rattling around when the vibrations are happening. Get it serviced. They'll find it.
Yeah. Don't they still make 6 CA7s? Adam Barker's saying.
Yes, but not like 6 CA7s from yesteryear. Yeah, Electro Harmonics makes some pretty good sounding 6 CA7s. JJ does too, but the Electro Harmonics sound better. But they're not necessarily any more reliable than anything else. So, yeah. And there's a couple power tubes that I just won't use because I don't like them. There's a EL34, although seemingly seems pretty reliable. Just every time I try to use it, I just don't like how it sounds. I just can't. And I mean, there's some other ones too. There's a Svetlana newer version that's made by Sovtek, EL34, and that sounds okay. Again, I just don't love the tone enough to really want to use it. There's a Mullard reissue EL34 that Sovtek makes also that is quite expensive, and I've had a lot of failures with those, different failures than I'm having now. So the only other EL34 is a Tungsol, which is quite a good tube, but it's really sort of cost prohibitive to use in a big production. It's more of an end user tube that if they want to use it, they could.
Just they don't get a break on the volume or anything.
It's priced. No, it's just kind of priced out of the ballpark. It's not even like in the realm of the other ones. So But not to say that those will be any more reliable either.
Right. Interesting. All right. There's a question here. Is Seduce a three-piece band?
Yes. Yes.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, look them up, man. Check them out. I think there's a song on iTunes, right? Also.
There's albums.
Is there?
Right? There's albums. Or no, is there a song on iTunes? Really? Who's making that money?
Not me.
I thought I saw it on iTunes. I thought I
Really?
saw, from the Decline of Western Civilization soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that might be on there.
Yeah,
Sure.
maybe
That
from the
might be on there.
soundtrack. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some royalties you should be getting.
Yeah, contact.
Yeah.
You got to give Tim Cook a call. Okay. You know, are you guys good to end right now? I think we're going at 2.5 hours. That's pretty good.
Someone said, Frank Quinn said, does Friedman amps use their own effects designed loops, or are they subcontracted out to another company before installation? I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. The effects loop, the original design was done by a guy named Steve Miller, who designed the Metro effects loop originally, where we sort of licensed some of that design from him, and we've made several changes to it over time. So we make it. I mean, it's our loop to use, so I don't know if that answers you.
Okay.
Um,
Any other questions that you see?
I'm looking.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the PEC pot one.
Yeah, it's good because we catch different questions.
Let's see. I don't know.
Yeah.
After you start looking at your eyes, start going like cockeyed.
Yeah, that's the thing, and and it's already getting late here. So, but well, Dave Black.
Oh,
Man.
here's one. Here's one. Any
Okay.
chance of Friedman cables in the future? Yes. We talked about it. It's coming.
Good.
Oh shit. Mark Andrews wants to know what's going on with the Friedman bass head. Oh man. Yeah, I've had that question so many times. It's hopefully coming at some point in time. I just haven't found the time to work on it. I've been doing other things.
That's actually a great question.
Yeah, no, I want to do some sort of bass thing, kind of rock bass thing. I just haven't quite decided what the format is yet. I kind of got an idea for what I want to do, but I haven't decided in what package I'm going to put it in. So we'll see. We'll see, guys. And of course, then a bass would come with that. A
Right.
Friedman bass
Oh,
would come
Friedman
with
bass.
that. Yeah. So
Nice.
is the preamp section? Someone asked, is the preamp section most important factor in the EL34 Marshall type amp? I'm not sure. Well, in our amps, the preamp section is more important than the power section because it's not like a vintage amp that we're pushing the power section real hard. So, yes, if that's an answer.
Okay.
And then someone also asked, is it feasible to change a 1972 50-watt JMP to a 68 specs comparable to your personal amp, Dave? Yeah, sure, I can do it. It's not that far off already. It just maybe it depends on your particular amp. So, but yeah, it can be done. Sure, it can be totally fine-tuned.
And someone also asked earlier if you were still doing mods to amps, and I think the answer is yes.
I do, but extremely slowly. I just don't have. I don't have a lot of time. I've been pretty much turning people down lately. I'm not ruling it out, but I had like 6 boxes here we were starting to go through today that I need to get those amps out the door first before I take any more in. So not that many a year, but I still do some.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the time. I can't, I don't have time to do it.
Yep. Okay. Anything else?
I think I got to the end.
Can you make an SVT sounding bass amp at half the weight?
Yeah, it might be half the volume too, or a quarter of the volume.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Someone asked earlier too. Someone asked if we're gonna something about synergy modules. We're gonna do more synergy modules, and the answer is yes. We'll be doing some more. Someone somewhere else asked. It wasn't on here, but someone asked about bass modules for synergy, which I also think could be done.
Hmm.
So then you got a cool, like, kind of rock bass preamp kind of thing. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Cool. All right. Good stuff.
Sure.
Hopefully we answered everybody's questions. Guys, everybody, thank you for joining the show and watching. Really appreciate everybody watching. I can't thank you enough. And Dave Black. Dude, it was great.
Thank you for letting me hang out. I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah,
That was great.
It's awesome.
No problem, man. Anytime. And hopefully I'll be seeing you at Winter NAMM. You gonna be there?
Oh yeah, Winter NAMM. Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, we'll have to get you here before then. No, probably after. But yeah, I'll see you at Winter NAMM.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys let me know what that next thing is.
Yeah.
Sweet. And
Absolutely.
and we also want to thank John 5 for joining us earlier.
Absolutely. Thanks, John, for coming on. And thanks, everyone, for joining.
Man.
Oh, man, we're getting more questions I'm seeing coming in. Not really. Someone said about a Furman and a pedal or something. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be nice. Bucks and Boost. There you go. Somewhere.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a couple weeks. Haven't worked out the schedule next. We'll figure out. We got some great guests coming up. Please hit the subscribe button. Everybody who's watching right now, please hit the subscribe button. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, please. And I'm begging for subscribers. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay. And please hit the subscribe button and share and have a great weekend, everybody. You guys hang out. And I'm going to hit the stop broadcast button. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.
All right.